Hey, bitch. Oh, excuse you. Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry Nene. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey, y'all. Hey. I don't know what's going on with my situation because I can't even like hear the countdown, the audio, all of the stuff. So we just gonna wing it. I mean, I hear certain things, but I don't know. We're gonna work that out. But anyway, regardless, greetings, ladies, gentlemen, theys, and thems. It's your host, Chris Avalon, and welcome to Unfiltered, the most opinionated and unapologetic talk show currently on the good old internet. Now, for those of you tuning in for the first time, Chris Avalon Unfiltered is a show where we dive deep into the juiciest headlines and entertainment, pop culture, and sometimes we get a little political on this good old show. So grab yourselves a drink, a snack, a blunt, or whatever gets you going throughout the day or the night, depending on where the hell you are. And let's get into this here gig, shall we? Now, before we get into the latest trending tea, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button down below, and be sure to follow all my social media platforms, which you can also see down below. And also a shout out to David Lab for the visuals, as I say every week, and shout out to Ashley Breathe for the beats on my theme song. Oh, ciao. Oh, hey Victor, it's been a minute since I've seen you in here. You finished the gig. Hopefully it was wonderful. Hold on. I don't know what's going on with me today, but for some reason, I'm drinking grapefruit juice. I think I was in the mood for grapefruit juice. I don't know why I'm drinking grapefruit juices late in the night, but anyway. Ooh. Anyway, oh yeah. And I went, even though it's faded, I know it's time for me to get a new shirt. I had this for a long time. But this is my Paris is Burning shirt, New York 1987. You know, the opening of Paris is Burning. If you ever seen it, you should know. Now, the reason why I'm wearing the shirt is because I decided to wear it in honor of Carmen Extravaganza, the legendary mother of the House of Extravaganza, who passed away yesterday at the age of 62. She found out, I believe earlier this month, that she had stage 4 cancer. It spread to her bones. And she officially, passed away yesterday. So I saw, like, I did a tribute. A lot of people did tributes. I saw Kevin Albiance posted something. Lady Bunny posted something. A lot of people were posting things. And it was like, I live for the extravaganzas. I know a lot of the girls. I didn't know her, but I know a lot of the girls in the ballroom scene. So I had to, pay tribute to her because she was fierce. She was a model. And speaking of which, it makes sense I would wear the shirt because she's in Paris is Burning. She's actually one of the girls that's in the scene when they're on the beach where she reads one of the girls, listing off her damn surgeries and all that other stuff. So she's the one that says, and that voice is still there. That's Carmen. So what was it? I was trying to remember the girls. Oh, Brooke Extravaganza. That's who it was that was listed off her surgery. So if you ever seen Paris is Burning, you know who I'm talking about. But if you haven't seen Paris is Burning, what the hell is wrong with y'all? Where the hell have y'all been? You need to watch that damn movie because I call that the quintessential gay Bible. But anyway, let's get into this show because we got a lot to talk about. We got to talk about this Lizzo case. There's a lot going on with that. We're going to talk about Joseline Hernandez. They didn't lock her cracked out ass up and throw away the goddamn key. I got the latest on Tori Spelling, regarding about her financial troubles, her going from living in $100 a night motel with her 5 children to now living in an RV on a campground in California. And I know a lot of people have been asking, where the hell has Candy been in all of this? And why isn't Candy, who has inherited $600 million of her late husband Aaron Spelling's coin? Yes, I was talking about. Oh, hey, David. I was just talking about Carmen Extravaganza passing. That's why I said I'm wearing my shirt. But yeah. So we're gonna talk about Tori and where Candy been in the whole situation because I got some tea on that. So we got that. We're gonna talk about Lizzo. We're gonna talk about child, the queer baiting of them damn island boys. I'm about sick of them. I'm gonna give my opinion on it. Is he gay? Is he not gay? I also got a new segment that I'm calling Carnage Candy, where we're gonna talk about some horror movies. So I got some tea on Happy Death Day, and we got some tea on A Nightmare on Elm Street. We're definitely gonna talk about the highlights of part 2 of Nene Leak's interview with Carlos King. Tamar Braxton jumped in and had something to say about them and threw a little bit of shade at the Kardashians. Is it justified? Is it not justified? We'll talk about that. Also got some drag race tea on Shea Coulee throwing iced coffee at a racist homophobe outside of Starbucks. We're gonna talk about that and a whole lot. Oh, and then we also got Kylie Sonique Love calling out celebrities who don't want to pay drag queens to perform. Child, we out here being cheap. Y'all don't want to pay the queens. I mean, they barely pay the queens over at They barely pay the queens over there on that other show where they highlight drag queens. So, there is also the overall grandfather of the house of Mark. The grandfather of the house of Mark Jacobs passed. What is going on? There's a lot of deaths. I mean, I know people die every day, just like everybody's born every day, but such a sad world in which we live. But anyway, let's get into this show, because I don't want it to be like this long, drawn-out show. I just want to get right to the topics. Okay, so let's get into this lawsuit that's going through with NBC Universal and Bravo, where reality stars. Okay, so I was sitting there trying to figure out how the hell I was going to put the show together. I'm like, the topics really wasn't giving all that much this week, but then yesterday, child, all of a sudden, this big bombshell dropped about Bravo and the reality stars and the mistreatment and stuff. So it says, for the past few weeks, former Bravo celebrity Bethenny Franco has been advocating for reality stars to join a union of their own, a la SAG-AFTRA and the WGA, now it could be WNBC/Universal and its subsidiary, Bravo, are being accused of grotesque and depraved mistreatment. Now, a strongly worded letter sent by legal eagles Brian Friedman and Mark Geragos to NBC bigwig counsel Kimberly Harris and obtained by Page Six on Friday accused the networks of making deliberate attempts to manufacture mental instability by applying their talent with alcohol while depriving them of food and sleep, as well as denying mental health treatment for those displaying obvious and alarming signs of mental deterioration. Now, I'm gonna read y'all, because I got the letter sent to from Brian J. Freeman. It was released on August 3rd. That's when they got the letter via electronic mail. And it was sent to Kimberly D. Harris, Esquire, Executive Vice President of Comcast Corporation and General Counsel of NBC Universal. So it says, and I'm not going to read y'all all of it, but I just want to give y'all the highlights. So it says, because it's like 30-something odd pages, but we're just going to probably read at least a good 2 or 3. So it says, Dear Kimberly, this firm, along with Mark Geragos, represents a significant number of individuals employed by or contracted with Bravo Media, E and CNBC, collectively NBC, assets owned and controlled by NBC Universal. So specifically, our clients are current and former cast members and crew members on some of NBC's most lucrative reality shows. As you know, NBC has a pattern and practice of has a pattern and practice of grotesque and depraved mistreatment of the reality stars and crew members on whose account its coffers swell. These individuals have been mentally, physically, and financially victimized by NBC and threatened with ruin should they decide to speak out about their mistreatment. As a result, the sordid and dark underbelly of NBC's widely consumed reality TV universe has remained under wraps for far too long. Please be advised that the day of reckoning has arrived. Child, I was like, when you said day of reckoning, those are fighting words. While an investigation is still ongoing, we have a reason to believe that cast members and crew members on NBC reality TV shows have been subjected to disturbing mistreatment by NBC Universal, and or its employees, contractors, and third-party affiliates. This includes, but is not limited to, deliberate attempts to manufacture mental instability by applying cast members with alcohol while depriving them of food and sleep. Denying mental health treatment to cast members displaying obvious and alarming signs of mental deterioration. Exploiting minors for uncompensated and sometimes long-term appearances on NBC reality TV shows. I actually want to know what shows those are because honestly, I really don't watch a lot of reality shows. Like I watch competition shows, but I don't really watch a lot of kid-based ones. Would it be like America's Got Talent or one of those type shows? Or is that what they were referring to? Because quiet as it's kept. If we talking about America's Got Talent, remember Gabrielle Union filed a lawsuit against him, and that's when that old coon Terry Crews came out because he was so desperate for a check. Oh, I don't remember no criminal or no crazy wrongdoings going on at NBC and all this other stuff, trying to discredit her. But she got her money though. So who was the one telling the truth and who was bullshitting? But anyway, black people we done ripped up Terry Crews' card anyway. So, he not invited to the cookout. He gonna be eating, potato salad with raisins. Anyway, distributing and or condoning the distribution of non-consensual porn. Who the hell's watching porn? Is it would it be the revenge one? Because I wouldn't be surprised if they was doing that. Covering up acts of sexual violence, refusing to allow cast members the freedom to leave their shows, even under dire circumstances. No doubt Bravo will ever aver that the cast members and crew members assume these risks contractually, but the law does not countenance waiver of intentional misconduct or gross negligence. So it goes on and on and on. If y'all want to read the full thing, you can go on my website and read that. But here's the thing. I actually believe everything that is written up in here. Like they do, like when you watch these reality shows, you could definitely see that these people are deprived of sleep. They, there's a lot of things that be going on. You see these people be on these shows looking disoriented. They be drunk as a skunk. I could tell y'all for a damn fact. Once upon a time, not long ago, I did an episode of the Real Housewives of New York. And this was when they did when Tinsley Mortimer was the ringleader at the Big Apple Circus. I worked at the Big Apple Circus. I was a head usher. I ran one section of the Big Top, and there was another coworker that ran the other side of the Big Top. So my side, I don't know why. Well, I won't say I don't know why, but I was glad and grateful that my side mostly got majority of the celebrities. A lot of times during our New York stint, a lot of celebrities would come to the Big Apple Circus to see the performances and stuff. I had Liam Neeson in my section. I had Frankie Grande in my section. I had Bruce Willis in my section. I knew this. I actually recognized Bruce Willis before everybody else did. And I'm still salty to this day that everybody was able to get a goddamn picture except me, but whatever. I think he was going through his situation at the time, but we didn't know. And the Real Housewives, they shot their sequence in my section. So there was a sequence where if you watch the episode, you will see myself on camera bringing the women alcohol. And I was asked by production, can you go and bring them this, we had a little brown box. Can you bring the ladies alcohol? Because this is what they do on these shows. You got to loosen them up. You got to supply them with alcohol. You have to do all these other things so that way you can get a conversation or some kind of conflict or some kind of drama going. And this is what they do on these shows. Because it's like, yeah, they'll have you waiting around for hours and hours and hours. There won't be no food on set. A lot of these women, they're doing all these things to make themselves look thin and maintain a certain figure being on TV. But the bitches are starving, quiet as it's kept, but they've supplied them, they're getting supplied with alcohol. Now, should the women be taking the drinks? They don't have to if they want to. You can say like, oh, nobody's putting a gun to your head. But at the same time, when you're on TV and you want to make an impression and you want to make more money, you want to do all these other things, these women will do whatever they got to do to maintain that sort of, notoriety or whatever the case is. This is what they do to keep the situation going. So everybody could be a little whatever on each side. But yes, they do supply them with the alcohol and stuff. I thought that was a known fact that everybody knew that. Now, as far as exploiting minors and stuff, a lot of times, what's messed up? The fact that a lot of these people who are non-union, they do get taken advantage of. And I think these productions and the studios, they know this. It's like, oh, if you're not protected by a union, they can do whatever the hell they want. And that's why I love the fact that Bethenny is fighting tooth and nail to get this whole, to get reality stars unionized, and they should be. They shouldn't be treated like shit. And I often wonder, I'm like, because you hear these stories of when reality stars talk about that a lot of these union and A-list celebrities and stuff, where they kind of interlink in the same rooms with these people. why they're so rude. Because it was like, what? Snooki said that Joy Behar was mean to her. And then she said, oh, you're not Italian. She mentioned that. And then she said, even though she likes the couple and she likes Blake Lively, she said that Ryan Reynolds was rude. I could believe that because he kind of gave me that vibe when that time he did Deadpool. They did they did a big premiere at my old job, and he kind of was a little standoffish, but whatever. It could have been he was tired or whatever the case was. But I think a lot of times, and even Bethenny has alluded to this, she says that a lot of these big name celebrities, they look down on reality stars. They don't take them seriously. And maybe it's because when y'all be going on strike and y'all are out of work and y'all can't do certain things, I think y'all mad because these reality stars come in and they're so hungry and they're trying to find they're getting in through the door by any means necessary, that y'all hating on them for it. But you can't hate them. Don't hate the talent for trying to get put on by any means necessary. What you should be mad at is the fucking corporations that's taking advantage of y'all. Those are who y'all should be going after. But I guess it's easy to go after a Snooki. But yeah, so I don't know. This is not necessary. Is this? I'm kind of confused by this whole, thing, because I remember like when I'm here, like they're saying that these reality stars accusing NBC Universal and Bravo of depraved mistreatment and exploitation. I'm assuming that this is what Bethenny has been alluding to for the past couple of weeks. That she said when she hired, Brian Friedman and Mark Garagos, that they were looking, and she's been talking to a lot of reality stars have been in her corner, and they're all for starting this union. And recently, as so much as a couple of them, there's who are supporting her. It's Cynthia Bailey, Margaret Joseph is from the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Cynthia Bailey, was from Atlanta. I heard that she did film for this season, but her scenes were cut. I'm like, even though this whole season was boring, Cynthia, were you that boring that you couldn't even get your scenes put in the episode? And Bronwyn, she was also another one that was Bronwyn Wyndham Burke from Orange County. She was, she's very team Bethenny in this whole reality thing. And then a story came out today, Saturday, that Bethenny has recruited 80 reality stars in a war against Bravo and NBC Universal. And I've been calling Bethenny Norma Ray because that's what she's been giving me with this whole situation. They said that Brian Freeman told Variety he's heard from roughly 50 reality show cast members, and now a source familiar with the situation is telling Page Six there's even more. They say it's going to be a massive thing. There are multiple individuals wanting to join this. At least 80 people have reached out, men and women. On Friday, Freeman and Garagos fired off a legal threat to NBC Universal. So it's not necessarily a lawsuit or whatever. I think what it is, it's a threat basically trying to shake the tree over at NBC Universal. So they fight over legal threat to NBC Universal's general counsel and executive vice president of Comcast Corporation, Kimberly Harris. In the letter, they accuse NBC and Bravo of making deliberate attempts to manufacture mental instability by applying their talent with alcohol while depriving them of food and sleep, as well as denying mental health treatment for those displaying obvious and alarming signs of mental deterioration. The insider would not name the names of the people already involved, but said that it's definitely housewife heavy with multiple franchises of housewives, but it's people from all different Bravo shows. They doubled down on the email alleging the network is feeding them alcohol, not giving them food. The conditions are mentally exhausting to get the best content. And yeah, because I also forgot to mention the whole thing with when I was on the set of The Real Housewives, there was a point where they were trying to film a scene between Sonia and Tinsley, and they were just rambling on and on. First of all, Tinsley was so drunk, her eye was wonky. Like, she had them heavy ass eyelashes on. She couldn't keep her eyes open. They were just both just gone, looked like, for the amount of drinking that they were doing. Tinsley's mother was lovely though, because I remember my parents. She said, I had a small little conversation with her. Tinsley's mother was lovely, but yeah, but it was like Tinsley, and then that's it. And I'm sitting there. I'm not even part of production. Why the fuck am I holding up the wire so that way stuff don't be in the way, so that way they could get their, so the production can get their shot. They were grateful and all, but I'm sitting there chiming in. I mean, helping them out with the little scene in the background, acting like I'm part of the crew. Maybe I was trying to get a job with Bravo. But nevertheless, um, you know, I'm all for this whole union. I don't like what these studios do when they take advantage of these celebrities. All they want to do is have an opportunity to get put on. If they come up with a brand or an idea or some type of business venture, they should be allowed to promote it. They should be allowed to make their, and profit from it. They shouldn't have to like give up like some stupid ass 360 deal at a record label where they can't, where these people, where the studio, the network makes more money off of them than anything. And to me, it's like, where does Andy Cohen fit in all this? Because he's, Mr. Watch What Happens Live, and he's the one that's created and the executive producer of all these housewives shows. I've noticed he's been relatively silent in all this, but it's probably because he benefits so much from the corporate situation. Whereas even though he is talent now, he did not start out that way, and he still gets a piece of the housewives pie because that's his creation. So we'll always make a coin from, creating 5,000 goddamn spinoffs of them damn housewives and the Ultimate Girls Trips and all these other little products that he does. But I really hope they get this union thing going. But what these girls need is, what these Bravo celebrities need to do, y'all need to stop attaching, y'all need to detach your mouths from Andy's ass, because he's at this point where his ego is so goddamn big, and it didn't start out that way. It's like his ego became so huge from being, the face of, in so many ways, he is the face of Bravo with the Watch What Happens Live and doing the reunions and all that other stuff. Now it's like these, and then he's on the show and he's interviewing certain people, and then he's instigating, being messy, and like, oh, so-and-so from the cast texted me just now. I'm like, why are you so connected and so close with the cast members from these shows? This is why a lot of times when you do these reunions, you can't be neutral. When a lot of times when you do these reunions, they don't respect you because you're too friendly with the cast. That's why when you sit there cussing, shut the F up and all this other stuff, because, when you talking to the Jersey Housewives and all those people, because you are so attached to these people, like they your damn friends, until they piss you off, and then you just pretty much do them like you did Nene and a few others. Then it's like you don't want nothing to do with them. But I just find it crazy to me. It's like, I feel like these housewives, y'all need to detach yourselves from this man. If y'all talking about all this stuff that y'all are experiencing behind the scenes on these reality shows, what y'all need to do is, strengthen numbers. Y'all gotta join. It's like, remember, the cast of Friends. Say what you want about that show and how it's a ripoff of Living Single and how it's an unrealistic, view of New York City and New York City apartments and all that other stuff. However, all that buffoonery aside, you can't deny that all of them, when they walked up in that room and they demanded they be paid $1 million an episode, and they stood in unison with that, and they didn't give a the fuck they wanted out of NBC. And this is what y'all need to do when it comes to, the union. Y'all need to not be, if you want to be a crab in the barrel, go do that shit on the side. But those of y'all that are real serious about making a change and looking at the bigger picture, where y'all can make buku coin down the road, when y'all 15 minutes of fame dry up and you can still see that money and them residuals rolling in, you might want to roll with the union and not be like some of these other bitches on these shows where y'all just you want to try to get over on the other ones. So don't do that. And I know I saw a couple of people saying like, well, they don't know if they trust Bethenny in this whole situation. Like, oh, this seems very opportunistic. I'm like, I'm sure it is opportunistic and self-serving. But at the end, but also if you look at it, she doesn't have to do this. It's like, Bethenny is good. She's made a shit ton of money. She's benefited. She actually is one of the only people, I believe, from, with her Skinny Girl that is not beholden to NBC Universal. They don't own a piece of her skinny girl brand. They don't, because Bethenny's smart. She knows how to work the business. She plays chess. She ain't playing checkers like the rest of these, but she ain't playing checkers like Candy Burris, who keep getting shows and then them shits get canceled after a season because she's so damn boring. So, um, in that sense, Bethenny is one of the lucky ones. So she was able to finagle her way and snake her way around the situation and really financially benefit. And she knows a lot of people in a lot of high places. Her and Andy came up at the same time. She knows a lot of where the bodies is buried on his end. So she's been able to curtail around the situation, and I feel like now she just wants to pay. When you get to be a certain age and you have it all, you have a lot of money in the second and third. I just think that at the end of the day, she just wants to pay it forward. And yeah, and once this gets going, at least it'll be in the entertainment history books that Bethenny Frankel, a reality star, was the one that got a union going for reality stars. So you could pass that down in the future. So who wouldn't want to have that kind of credibility and publicity? Of course, all publicity is good publicity, as they say. And so I'm not mad at her for wanting to do this. If she is the one that is going to take to get this ball rolling, then I ain't mad at it. Okay. So yeah, I know this is not going to go anywhere because it seems like every week we really be talking about Bethenny and this union and what's going to happen with the future of Bravo and blah 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 and all that good stuff. And I will definitely keep y'all abreast of this story as it develops, because I'm sure it's going to be going on for a while, especially with what's happening with the unions and all that other stuff. It's still a hot ass mess over there on that end. We might get into this show, because I'm sure there's going to be topics related to films that the unions and all this stuff will come up in the conversation. All right, so since we're still on Bravo and what's going on over there, let's talk about part 2 of Nene Leakes' interview with Carlos King. Now, during the second half of Nene Leakes' explosive interview with Carlos King, the former reality star dishes on her issues with Andy Cohen, her on-again, off-again friendship with Wendy Williams, how you doing? And which Roa alum gave her a run for her money and a read-off during her run on the long-running show. We do have a clip, and I want to play that. It's from Carlos King's Instagram, actually, that we took it. And it gives y'all basically the highlights of the episode. Roll the clip.
You guys don't want to miss this interview. Is that a secret for them, honey? Are by far the shadiest showrunner I've ever sat with.
Is it sad to see the house you built crash and burn?
I've said it so many times. This is a shame. And it's a shame that they don't get what it needs. It's really simple to us.
Do you watch the show now?
I do not watch the show. However, I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of the girls that are on the show currently. And most of these girls have the I, but they do not have the T.
How do you feel about Marlo getting a peach?
Marlo is the one that's bringing the most entertainment on the show. Now, we really have a problem. And who else is working on the show now?
Sheree's there.
And what is she doing?
Think that there's a different treatment between you and Bethenny. At the end of the day, you both are outspoken women.
I think if we speak and say some of the same things that she's saying, we can no longer work. I don't get that same opportunity.
You and Wendy Williams had a great friendship at one point in time. When was the last time you spoke to her?
I honestly felt like Wendy was in a place where she didn't care about any of her friends anymore. And she would just say whatever she had to say. I hated that because I really liked her as a person.
Do you think you should be bigger than Kim Kardashian?
Absolutely. If not bigger, right there with her.
Why did you feel the need to sue Bravo, NBC, and Andy Cohen?
Like, all of these girls know that there was unfair treatment because we all have been in group text messages where all of these girls have texted and said that they were feeling unfair treatment. There's no secret, and I have the text messages to prove it. Do not edit it out.
No, we're gonna keep this. Let's go. Do you think you're blackballed?
I was in many talks to do many things, and they would just die. And that's not by chance.
Does that make you sad, though?
It makes me very sad. I'm okay with it, though. I think God has a plan for me.
You've done so much for this industry. And I feel like you've done so much for this genre. You deserve so much more than what this world is giving you. If Andy Cohen is watching right now, what is it that you would like to say to him?
Scene. Especially when Carlos was dropping them fake ass crocodile tears. I'm like, girl, you are not an actress. So don't start now. Stick to producing. But anyway, it was definitely a great episode. The blackball part that she mentioned, I do believe she was blackballed. I'm glad she opened up about it and she talked about it. But I do believe that maybe the blackballation is over because I believe Bethenny may have stepped in, and I don't think she's as blackballed as she once was. And I also believe that she and Carlos King have something cooking up their sleeve. I don't know exactly what it is that they're going to work on, but I do think it's going to be good. They also mentioned in that, I don't remember if it was the episode, because I'm going to be honest, I did fall asleep on it, but I did wake up and I did rewind it and watch certain parts. There was a clip that was floating online where they asked, would they add a gay couple on The Real Housewives of Atlanta? First of all, y'all not going to use us as no damn accessories, because I hated when y'all did that when you brought on Ms. Lawrence and Derek J. So, number two, you bring the... the gays should not have to come in and save y'all show when the ship is sinking like the goddamn Titanic. Because that's when y'all love to bring the gays on. Y'all love to bring the gays on when the show's ratings is lower than Stephen A. Smith's hairline. Y'all always want to go there and bring in the gays, bring in the queens, bring in the girls whenever y'all numbers is dwindling. I don't want that. And I remember it wasn't that long ago that Carlos King and Miss Cohen went and said, because y'all some self-hating immigrants, that they don't think men are entertaining. No, straight men ain't entertaining, I guess, unless you're Peter Thomas. But straight men, for the most part, are not entertaining when they're on TV. Now, okay, I will say this: I do enjoy watching the men on Real Housewives of New Jersey. They are entertaining. The shots, a little gay smacking each other on the butt and doing all the other little stuff that they be doing. It's cute. It's men being, frisky and all the other shit down in Jersey. That's a cute little situation to go on when we ain't got to hear Teresa and Joe fighting for no damn reason another damn year because y'all want to play tit for tat with each other. Now I hear them two are going head to head on vacations and things. Teresa goes away on vacation with Louis, and now Melissa and Joe got to compete with the thing. But anyway, it's not about them. It's about Nene. I'd love to see gay people on a Real Housewives show. Not the Real Housewives of Atlanta, not Love and Marriage Huntsville, none of them type of shows. I would love to see a reality show centered around real gay people who are career workers, who are in relationships, not in relationships, who are dipping it and doing it, and all kinds of other stuff. High society queens, all the other stuff. There's a lot of gays out here that's doing things with themselves. I'm not saying we need a Real Friends of WeHo type situation. Don't just pick a bunch of homosexuals and throw them together and we supposed to believe they friends. There needs to be a real genuine sense of them doing something, and y'all also got to be entertaining and not be afraid to throw the shade. You got to come in, you got to be your authentic selves, and you got to be messy, and you got to be willing to throw shade, because that's what we watch these reality shows for. So I do think a gay-centered a show, a Real Housewives-esque type show featuring gay people, it would work. Now, we also got to get ourselves out of that situation that we all got to be perfect, like we married Dan Poppins, because y'all scared of what the mainstream or even the gay community is going to think. Because anytime we get a little something, our own community hate on it and want to and are quick to bash it. It need to be canceled. We're not going to support it. It's this, that, and the third. It's like, we're not perfect. We could be messy. We dramatic. We do all those things too. So we got to accept the good with the bad. Everything ain't always got to be, we got to be this perfect specimen, because we don't want to rock the boat. We weren't too much about what straight people think. I personally don't give a fuck what other people think. I live my life as I live my life. But and I know we live in this crazy world where it's crazy, but we can't live our lives afraid to be our authentic self because we worrying about that one over there doing some foolishness. And we're gonna talk about a fool that did some shit. when we talk about O'Shea later on in the show, how he was killed because somebody was offended by him being his authentic self. So we got to be vigilant out in these streets. But anyway, I don't want to get on that. I want to stay on Nene. So I'm here for gays being on a reality show. Now, there was some other stuff they said. She also talked about, she said that she was always open and willing to sit down and have a conversation and work things out. Well, I don't know to what extent that was, but I'm just going to take her word for it. She said she was offered 6 episodes of return for season 13. When asked why she was only getting 6, they told her because she was unhappy. And she said, how you going to tell me I'm unhappy? Like, I would know if I'm unhappy or not. But I think it was because, I live for Nene, but we got to be honest. Nene, you have an attitude problem. You were one of the girls that came out and you were, one of the biggest stars on reality television. When it first started kicking its gear. We lived for Nene when she started being her authentic self halfway through season 1, and then as the seasons went on, because I think, when did I first start coming in? I didn't really start coming in to watch, I told y'all when it was Anderson started talking about, but I really did not start watching Nene Leakes and the Real Housewives of Atlanta until that iconic episode of Watch What Happens Live came on. They did like an after show. I don't even think it had a whole situation yet. And Nene came on, and then Kim called in, and she told her to close her legs to marry man. That's when I started watching, the show. And really get into it. I was like, oh, what is this mess going on? This is entertaining. And Nene is entertaining. But girl, I think when you started acting difficult and you were, you were getting too big for your britches, and production was like, oh no, we got to knock this bitch down a kid, because now she thinking she running things over here. And at the end of the day, nobody, unless you got an executive producer title and you actually funding and you doing things with the show, unless you're in the Andy Cohen position, you can't just run around doing whatever you want and thinking you're not gonna be out of it. I mean, they'll fire him too, but it probably got to take a whole lot for them to get rid of him. He got to be out here doing some R. Kelly, Lizzo type stuff for his ass to get fired. But when you black and a woman, unfortunately, you can't be running around here doing whatever. And then that's why they cut her down. I think they were punishing her because of the situation that happened when they all went in her closet and the cameraman went in her closet and she pulled them back. She said, because it was brought up in the show, she said, oh, he was in the way. No, you didn't want that man in your closet, and you was going through whatever you was going through with Greg and all the other stuff, and probably your son's drug issues, so you didn't want him in there. She also said that Bethenny can say anything, but if she was to say the exact same thing, she would be the one criticized for it. There were 2 said, oh yeah, it's racism. Like, that's the only reason why she can't say, Bethenny can say things and get away with stuff, but she can't. Same thing with the whole thing with Bethenny and the union. Nene been talking about the stuff that was going on with the unions. Not the unions. Nene been talking about was the stuff that's been going on behind the scenes at Bravo. And I think with her, she felt, because she did say, and I think part 1, I had when she first started out there, Bravo was a low nothing network. It didn't really have nothing really going for it. Like, it was this upstart. And all these reality shows came in and made it what it was. So she said she had the ear of the execs. She had the ear of Andy Cohen. So if there was any issues that were pertaining, disgruntled, lack of pay, things that was going on behind the scenes that they felt was discriminating against the women and being black and being a woman, all this other stuff, she felt that I could be the normal rate of the group and I can go speak to the hires up, because I have their personal numbers, and I could go to them directly and talk about this. They probably saw that as a problem, because they love you when you comply and you do whatever they want, but when you start to ruffle and rock the boat, then it's like, okay, now this bitch gonna be a problem. So I do believe that a lot of stuff, when she was saying that they were trying to plot against her, they were trying to get her, they were trying to have people come in to personally attack Nene and take her down and stuff. So I do believe a lot of that. Now, and I said, like, with the 6th episode thing, I feel like that it was all because they were trying to punish you because of what you did. And then the whole Bethenny thing, I do believe everything. It's racism. I wish she would have alluded to that. That and the other thing when she was talking about Kim Kardashian. We'll talk about that in a second. Says Andy and Watch What Happens Live would not be successful without the Housewife franchise. That's a fact. Because you didn't have Watch What Happens in the beginning. Like I said, the reunion of season 1 of Real Housewives of Atlanta was called Watch What Happens. It was never called the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion. It was called Watch What Happens. And then it just molded into this other thing where Andy Cohen gave himself a little after show where he brought the housewives on and they would just talk about the drama that ensued from the show because the Atlanta Housewives put that on the map. Sad that her and Andy are where they are right now. Hopes her and Andy can find their way back to each other. I don't think that'll ever happen because I believe Andy holds grudges. I believe once you stop kissing his ass, and she says she is Sagittarius, so she don't kiss ass. I'm no shade, but Sagittariuses, y'all have a habit of self-sabotaging. You really do. A lot of times, because Nicki Minaj is one too. You are great to work with, real on it when it comes to business, the great personality, all that other stuff. My grandfather's a Sagittarius, but you get on his bad side, he will cuss your ass out. May he rest in peace. I know how my grandfather was a Sagittarius. He's the nicest person in the world, but when you got on his bad side, he was brutal. He was ruthless. I witnessed it, man. Especially when we driving on the road, he would cuss everybody out who cut in front. It was a mess. So yeah, I know how the Sagittarius are. And I said they build real business-minded, hard workers, all this other stuff. I know production is Sagittarius too, and he laughing to my yup. So I know. So. What was I saying? Because I got so wrapped up in reading the Sagittarius. I wasn't really reading the Sagittarius. I was just basically telling y'all because I pay attention to astrology and all that other good stuff. So, but yeah, Andy holds grudges. But also the mouths of Sagittarius can be pretty nasty and brutal, and a lot of times that shit'll get you in trouble. I'll say for me, I'm a Virgo. Our mouths is just as crazy, so I know my mouth and what it does. Which is why a lot of times we hold back until you piss us off, until you get us to the point of no return. Then we can't turn the fountain off. Once you turn the knob a little bit to the right. He says Andy still has not spoken to Kathy Griffin. He's not talking to Kathy Griffin, especially when Kathy Griffin started spilling his tea about the booger sugar, which I knew that tea long before Kathy Griffin spilled it, because I knew, allegedly, I had people come to me and tell me these things. I got sources everywhere, and I know a lot of the gays. So I'm not gonna say. So allegedly, he likes to ride the white horse. She liked the booger sugar. Allegedly. Now I said allegedly enough. We can move on. Sad that, so I do agree with Victor. It says that he hasn't spoken to Kathy Griffin. He's not going to speak to her. And once they get to a point, he's not trying to rekindle a friendship. You done burned that bridge. You went far beyond the ass kissing situation. She said she don't kiss ass either, which Sagittarius don't. They real stubborn. Doesn't watch the show, only clips. She did mention that about the whole Marlo, and I do agree. Marlo is the one bringing the tea. Kenya is bored on the show because she doesn't have talent to work with. And I do agree with that. I feel like the girls are not showing up to work. That's why this season is boring. They're not real friends. Y'all need people who actually get along and actually relatively know each other and that can have conflict. The fact of the matter is all of them look bored. And I feel like if y'all don't rectify this situation this season, next season, I think y'all need to just wipe the slate clean and find new bitches and put them up in there, because these girls are not giving what needs to be given. Ever since Nene got fired from the show, when she closed that laptop, she pretty much signed her death warrant at that point. During that virtual reunion, once she did that, it was a wrap, and the show hasn't been the same since. The cast had meetings regarding Kim Zolciak not going on cast trips. I did wonder why. Was Kim not allowed? Why was Kim able to slither out of going on the cast trips, but all the other women had to show up? This is why I have a problem, and this goes to show that it's the racial bias. The fact that this white woman can come in and make all these demands and y'all oblige, but if the black girls did it, they're problematic, they're difficult, and you want to demote them, fire them, whatever this other stuff. But Wig can come in and do whatever, get a whole spinoff and do whatever the hell she want, and y'all are okay with it. So it clearly showed, and this is why I always said, like, why? First of all, I was already no shade, but why was it that of all the shows, y'all struggled real hard trying to get a black girl on the white shows like New York with Ebony K. Williams, and then you did a better job getting Garcelle on Beverly Hills, and they trying with Will Smith's first wife, Cherie, but ma'am, you're boring like Sheree and Candy. But so I don't know if she's back this season as a friend of or whatever. I don't even know if she's on the upcoming season. But yeah, so y'all struggle real hard trying to get black people to be on these all white shows, but y'all never hesitate whenever it's a black show. Y'all want to put white people on it because it's like y'all think that black people can't sell a show on their own. And that's what irritates me about a lot of these companies, where it's like, y'all think black people can't sell a product. Y'all think black people can't navigate a show without white people being a part of it or at the helm of it or whatever. Who said that? Like, our ratings, black people and people of color have put many a network on the map as Fox. Because when that network wasn't shit, y'all had To Live in Color, you had Martin, you had all them shows on there. And those are the ones that lifted them networks up to where they are. And then when it gets to a point where the network is where they needed to be, then it's all of a sudden you want to demote black talent, you want to demote the black shows, you want to take all the money out of it, and you want to, like, because y'all got a little coin now, and your revenue is up, and your numbers is up that you can show the shareholders, then y'all can run over to, then you can start to kind of cut the hand of the black people that basically y'all build. It's like colonization. Like, y'all built America on the backs of black people. Now you build the networks on the backs of black people, and then when you're done with them, you want to gentrify the situation. I always got to put in political terms. She also said she had a talk show in the works that was going to be produced by the same company that produced Wendy Williams' show. Once her and Wendy fell out, she found out her talk show wasn't happening. Said she was blackballed for a long time, and her projects getting canceled happened multiple times. Well, and then she was talking about the whole Wendy Williams friendship thing. Wendy ain't never been a friend of nobody. That's why and I love Wendy. That's why she by her damn self now, because Wendy Williams has always said that she is her own best friend. Wendy Williams has never been loyal to anybody in the industry. And I know Nene said that I was I saw things and I felt like I was a genuine friend to her. And it kind of made me wonder, I said, were you being a friend of Wendy's because because she mentioned something where it alluded to, like, well, you at least have one or two friends that you don't want to talk about. So was that the reason why you wanted to be friends with Wendy? So that way, if your shit ended up in the news, then Wendy would kind of throw you a softball and she really wouldn't go in and let half. And this is exactly why when you do the jobs that we do, it's like we can't really be friends with the celebrities because y'all expect us to throw y'all a bone. You expect us to not talk about you. And it's like, if you in the news, we gotta talk. I'm sorry, no shade. I mean, I'm gonna let you know that you in the topics, but I'm not gonna sit here and I won't reveal the most intimate of secrets. But we gotta talk. We gotta talk the facts of what we know. Now, thinking that she should have been bigger than Kim K, if not alongside her. And then I'm gonna have to cut this because there was so much that went on in that episode. If y'all really feel like definitely watch the episode. I do believe that she should be as big or if not bigger than Kim K, but we got to be honest. Nene, when she came on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, she was an older woman. Hollywood is ageist. They're gonna go with the Kardashians where Kim was much younger. Also, Kim is, and this is no shade to Nene, but this is the reality. People want to fuck Kim. When you look at a Nene Leakes was the funny, sassy, tall, black girl. Wasn't nobody trying to fuck her but Greg. And that's no shade. I'm just saying that when it comes to marketability and all the other stuff, they're looking at it as Kim did the sex tape. We can basically capitalize off of her being a amateur porn star and not a very good one. And girls want to be her and men want to fuck her. This is the same strategy they use when it comes to the female rappers, like a Little Kim and a Nicki Minaj and the Megan Thee Stallions. And that's the same marketing strategy they use when it comes to a lot of female artists. The girls want to be you, the men want to screw you. And they did that with Kim. Now we can get into a whole conversation about the blackfishing and how they like to cultural appropriate stuff and all that other mess, because that's what they do. And we have talked about it, especially the situation where we got Kylie Jenner with a Bratz doll line, and Bratz dolls were created as an alternate solution to the fact of the lack of diversity with Barbie and all that other stuff. So they created these Bratz dolls, dark skin. And the funny thing is, Kylie's is a tan, has a whole tan. She ain't like she Armenian, like she got a little ethnicity up in her. She's a full-on white girl, with Chris, Pimp Mama Chris, and Bruce being her damn parents. Yeah, I use the bitch's dead name because she is not a part of the community. The way she goes in and let's have on the trans community all the fucking time, I'm not calling that bitch Caitlyn. Fuck her. All skin folk and kinfolk. Her name is Bruce. Anyway, transphobic. No, when you got people in it's just like, look. When I look at Candace Owens, she ain't black. She'll never. I don't like that bitch either. So she not, all skin folk and kinfolk, and not everybody's gonna get the grace. I'm not mature in that way. When they go low, I go straight to hell. If y'all ever seen this show, you know. Then she did say that Claudia basically gave her a run for her money in regards of the read off, and I was like, she didn't give you a run for your money. Claudia gave it to you, Nene. Like Nene normally reads, but Claudia basically she scalped the bitch. Like she definitely came for that neck. And then I do agree that she should have been given the peach. And she said that she went to bat for her. Carlos's dream. Well, I don't care about Carlos's dream team cast. Nene's dream season 16 cast. She said she wants Portia, Candy, Marlo, Kenya, Drew, and would be down for Kim Zolciak as long as she's ready to work. Moneta and Sanya can exit, and New Blood can enter. Yeah, they can get rid of Moneta and they can get rid of Sanya. Sanya's boring. I'm glad she mentioned Sheree, because Sheree is boring. I seen that picture of Sheree trying to pretend she was making clothes for She by Sheree. Girl, give up on that pipe dream. Who you trying to fool? You are not trying to do no She by Sheree. I feel like the She by Sheree thing, you never had any intent of creating fashions, that this was basically a ploy for you to just have a storyline or whatever the case is. And I think the shit just got bigger than what it was. So you just keeping the situation going. But I don't think you have any intent of creating fashions. So just put it to bed and just find other scamation ways of paying Chateau Sheree or whatever. And I do feel like the fans will robbed of getting the aftermath of Kenny and Phaedra's drama. Like everything that happened with the sex dungeon and the accusations that happened with that, we should have been given closure with that. It's like with the Real Housewives of New Jersey. They're bringing everybody back because we didn't get closure from the previous season, and y'all all got to work. I don't know how they allow Kenny to just be up in there and be like, well, if y'all bring Sheree back, if y'all bring Phaedra back, then I'm quitting. I've been like, bye, bitch. Don't let the door hit you. Because you don't run this shit over here. I think we should have gotten closure from that situation. But the fact that Kenny has power over saying, I refuse to work with this girl who made up these lies. If it was a lie, then it should have just been dispelled right then and there. But anyway, it was so much that went on. I feel like I went way too long on this damn topic. But it was a lot to break down. And I have a lot of opinions. If y'all have not seen that part 2, definitely check it out. Okay, now speaking of the Kardashians, because we did talk about that before. I remember there was a clip that went viral where Tamar was a guest on, I don't know if she's permanently on there or she's a guest, like she pops on and does guest co-hosting or whatever. But Tamar Braxton was on Dish Nation. And they were spilling the tea on the latest hot topics. And basically the panel started debating the conversation of whether or not Nene Leakes should be on the same level or bigger than Kim Kardashian. And Tamar didn't hold back on her opinion because, Tamar, even though she is an R&B singer, not as big as Tony, but she's up there. I think like there's Tony and then there's Tamar, and the other girls, they do whatever. Tracy, may she rest in peace. But Tamar had some opinions on it, and I felt that Tamar, what she said was straight up, I agree 1,000%. Now, we do have a clip, and we're going to play the clip, and then I'm going to give you my opinion on said clip after we return.
Everything.
Yeah, because she had to figure out how to make an income because the pay is not fair.
Hello.
The pay is not fair between Kim Kardashians, the Braxtons, or Atlanta Housewives.
Well, the pay
That's
might
not
be,
fair.
The pay
I'm
not
sorry.
fair, but
We're
she
doing
made,
the same thing. Why are we not getting the same price?
well, okay, then
Why
I mean, but then,
Only Kim and Nene back on the show. A lot of people would say you guys are the show. You guys are so much funniness to it.
Well, I would just say check the ratings.
Okay. Yeah, so they weren't fair in regards to that. Tamar also told about in the clip that she created the Braxton family values and that way, and then they should have been afforded the same opportunities, but they weren't allowed to sell and showcase their product and things of that nature on the show, whereas the Kardashians could. And I also have to point out that I don't know if WeTV is affiliated with NBC Universal, but I do know that E and Bravo is. And, the Kardashians was over there on E. Nene and the Housewives, they were blowing, the ratings were through the roof for many seasons. Whereas the Kardashians, a lot of people were not keeping up with them as E would have liked y'all to have believed. But the fact of the matter was, because of, connections and privilege and things of that nature, that show got to stay on way longer than it needed to. And I guess people enjoyed it. But I didn't like the fact that, you had Gary on there talking about how Nene was delusional to even think that she should be as big as a Kardashian. And I'm like, Gary, are you gonna sit up here and try to act like a whole pick-me on national television? But I'm not surprised, because there was one time when they brought his ass back, because remember, initially he was supposed to be one of the four on that other show with Claudia Jordan, the show that she has with fucking Not Even How You Doing. It was supposed to be Gary was supposed to be on there, but I guess there was something going on with her and Ricky Smiley, and the fact was Ricky didn't want him on that show. He was either like, you either sit over here with this nation or you go on that tired ass show on Fox O, and he chose Ricky Smiley because he knew what about it. Well, he knew where to stay where the coin was. And I guess, some people don't want to go with the startup because they don't know how the money is going to be. And now look at TGI. Now the show's 5 days a week and they're making good money and stuff over there, I guess. So Gary was initially supposed to be in there, and I remember they brought him back for a special episode or whatever. And I forget which topic they were talking about, but he said some shit where I want to dive through the TV and slap his coonish pick me ass into next week. I don't particularly care for Gary with the T, and I don't care how many times you say honey and Miss Honey and all that other foolishness, it don't make your ass sound smart. But anyway, so and then there was the other guy that was on there was using football analogies, talking about they need to play a harder game of football and negotiate a better deal. Here's the thing, y'all need to realize that when it comes to black people, they will try to lowball you and try to play games. Monique has been saying that shit for years. Nobody was listening. There was a period where I did go in and I was like, well, it's basically a business of what have you done for me lately? And no shade, it is. But that doesn't excuse the fact that, if I'm this prominent Oscar-winning actress and I'm this prominent comedian and I'm selling out arenas and this, that, and the third, I should be afforded the same type of money that you're giving an Amy Schumer, who ain't even a smidgen of hilarious than I am. But you're gonna lowball me because I'm the black woman. So we have to openly admit that, black artists, even though they work the hardest, they're way more entertaining. They come up with way more memes and viral moments than a Kardashian. The only time the Kardashians go viral is if they say something fucking stupid, or it's something totally immature, where Kim talking about get off your ass and work, even though people would consider what she does is not work. Or she said something about the kids or Kanye, whatever. If she says something out of touch with reality, y'all on her ass. She has never had a moment where a meme or a simple look that she does or something went viral. Nene has a plethora of viral gifs and memes and things that go on around. So does Tamar. Tamar, you tried it and all that other stuff. Saying all of that. That means people still use that. So I do think that Nene should be big as Kim. But I do think that ageism, race, all those things play a factor. But also, Nene did have a lot of opportunities, but I do think that because she did become too big and the ego and probably, certain reputations that she may have had around the industry, and you never know who you piss off because this industry is real small, and this person will go and tell this person, and I believe that's what Andy Cohen did. He made a couple of phone calls like, do not work with her. She is a problem. And they're going to listen to him. Like, Nene should have a podcast. Nene should have all these other, and I'm like, why can't she do a podcast? She could either do an entertainment news podcast, or she could do like what Bethenny's doing, Rewives, which she's rewatching The Real Housewives of New York and she's recapping it. So why can't she do that? Is it because is Bravo gonna sabotage the situation and tell her that she can't talk about that? Or, they'll do a cease and desist and they'll take it down. Because I did hear that there was another house, I think it was Kelly Dodd, that was talking about how she was doing a YouTube channel on recapping the Housewives or whatever, and Bravo basically had the channel removed. So I don't know if there's probably legalities in that. I guess you can't use footage. You would just have to mention, take notes and mention certain scenes and things. There's ways you can get around it. As long as y'all don't use footage from NBC, because they can be real annoying when it comes to the copyright. Trust me, I know, because they flagged my videos many times when we've used shit from NBC. So I like what Tamar had to say. I agree with everything she said in the video, and unfortunately, it'd be nice if we can get be on the equal playing field, but you know what? It's always about youth, accessibility, global appeal, racism, sexism, all that shit plays into these things. And unfortunately, that's the way it is. I hope it don't need to be that way, but that's just the way our society has been designed. Whew, okay. So I'm like, Jesus, these it's a lot. Okay, so we're gonna take a break from this drama and get into some this new segment that I would like to call Carnage Candy, because I love my horror movies. So I thought we could just do a little horror movie segment in the show. And yeah, so I came with this idea. I've always had this idea cooking in the back of my head, but I did talk to production this week, and I was like, ooh, I just want to do this little segment called Carnage Candy, where we just talk about horror movie news. So the first topic that I want to get into is, so there's been word going around that we're getting a Scream 7. Now, initially Scream 7, they did Scream 5 and Scream 6. It was Radio Silence that took over the reins from Wes Craven. May he rest in peace. Because he did the first 4 movies. They've gone through a series of directors and all those other series of writers. Then we had Scream 5 and Scream 6 came aboard, and Radio Silence was a part of it. It was great and all that they were a part of that and this, that, and the third, but I don't know. While there were moments I liked, there were parts I didn't like about the situation. There were parts about Scream 5 and Scream 6 I didn't like. I didn't like the plot armor. I was like, y'all need to get rid of that. I didn't like the fact that, I don't know, it was just always like the third act of the films disappointed me. I expected so much more. And then also the way that the legacy characters were treated. I'm still pissed y'all killed off Dewey, but I get, it didn't fit for that sequence. We needed that moment. But the plot armor y'all would put on your new characters was pissing me off. Then, the way they treated Neve Campbell and not paying her the money that she should have been paid when she basically has been a huge box office gross for a lot of those films. Now I feel like with Scream 6 making the amount of money that it made at the box office, they could probably argue that we can still do these films whether you're there or not. But it would be great to have her back. And I did love the scene with Gail and her chase sequence in Scream 6, but I do feel like y'all could have utilized her way more. So I don't like the fact of how they waste the legacy characters just so that way they can push forth the newer characters. And y'all need to develop your characters a lot more. There wasn't really a lot of deaths in part 6. There was a lot of tension and a lot of really cool sequences, but if you really look at it, not a lot of people died except for throwaway characters. Amika, the girlfriend of Mindy, And then there was a lot of it felt like it was some throwaway kills, although I did like Annika's death, don't get me wrong. But anyway, to get to the story, now word has come out. Well, look at this background. Look at Freddie. It was Ghostface. We got Jason. We got Chucky. Anyway, so now word is coming out that we have a new director for Scream 7, and it's none other than Christopher Landon. So, Hollywood Reporter is exclusively revealing that Christopher Landon, who directed films like Happy Death Day, both films, and Freaky, has been tapped to direct the next Scream film. Scream 6 directors Matt Bettinelli, Open, and Tyler Gillett will remain on board as executive producers, as will Chad Villella. For the two recent movies, titled Scream and Scream 6, which were distributed by Paramount, scared up $137.7 million and $168.9 million worldwide. So Scream 6 actually made more than Scream 5, and introduced a fresher face cast of the bloody proceedings, among them Jenna Ortega, Melissa Barrera, and Mason Gooding. While the actors do not have deals for the new installment, they are expected to return once the dual writer and actor strikes are settled. The Hollywood Reporter states that Ortega's deal will be the one to watch, as the actress signed on to the franchise before she was catapulted to the A-list thanks to Netflix's Wednesday. Also unclear who will be writing Scream 7. James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick wrote the scripts for the two recent movies. But I should point out that Landon is also an established screenwriter, having written or co-written all of his directorial efforts. So most likely Landon will have the hand in script duties. Now, Radio Silence won't be back to direct because they're directing this untitled monster movie for Universal, which Melissa Barrera, who you know is from the last two Scream movies, is a part of that cast. They can work out her schedule where she can come in once the writer's strike and the actor's strike and all this stuff ends. They can work out her schedule in regards of how she can come in and do what needs to be done in regards of her scenes or whatever. They can work that out. You can always work out an actor's schedule. Now, writing is a different story, directing is a different story, because there's the pre-production, then there's production, post-production. There's so much that goes into directing. But as for Christopher Landon, I actually think he's a great choice. He was actually my initial choice when I first heard the rumors earlier this year that Radio Silence wasn't coming back. I said that because it's funny, I started doing the research. I was like, oh my God, I forgot he did all these movies. Like, I love the first Happy Death Day. Happy Death Day 2, I have a love-hate relationship with, but I enjoy it more than I hate it. Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. I think that was the first Christopher Landon movie I saw. I actually saw that in the movies because when I worked at AMC at the time. I watched it and I was like, this is a really good movie. It was not a lot of people in the theater because I think a lot of people didn't really get it or understand it. It was like a small little under the radar type horror comedy, but I enjoyed that movie. And I actually like Freaky, though it was like a take on Freaky Friday where this girl switches with a serial killer, places. So I actually liked that whole thing. And I know a lot of people are worried because they feel like his movies skew. We said thank you. I know his movies tend to teeter on more comedy than horror, but if you really look at paying attention to Christopher's aesthetic, one, he's openly gay. So hopefully we get some stronger gay characters besides Mindy. Like, let's get some gay boys up in these. Quiet as it's kept. We need like some gay slasher movies. Like, I really would love to see a horror movie with an all gay cast where they getting picked off one by a killer. Shit, cast me as the cop. Who gonna help me write it? I need some writers. Let's get that going because we definitely need that. Like, I feel like this younger generation, they could definitely use that type of representation of, let's get a real diverse group of characters in a movie and get them picked off. I don't know what the story would be. I'd come up with some ideas, but we could definitely use that. And Christopher Landon, I definitely, like I said, I enjoy his work. His movies teeter more on the comedy, but if you really pay attention to the overall aesthetic of the movies, he's definitely influenced by the Scream films. So I do think this is a perfect choice for him to be picking up and doing this type of franchise. And so I would definitely I've seen Hellbent, but that movie came out like 20 years ago. So we definitely need an update. Then was the other. What was that other movie? They slash them. Child, what the fuck was that? That was horrible. And then y'all don't even get me started when y'all broke out in the goddamn Glee moment where they singing "Effing Perfect" by Pink. Like, to me, I love that concept. First of all, that was a great concept when you had these kids at a gay conversion camp and a serial killer is on the loose or whatever and killing people. I love that premise. It was just the overall execution and the fact that y'all really wasn't killing no people off. That shit I feel like they dropped the ball with that concept, but that was a really good concept with having a bunch of queer kids at a conversion camp. So I would have really loved for them to take, maybe somebody else could come up, well, who knows, maybe I could write it. Could come along and take that concept and just take it in a completely more brutal, scary Friday 13th type direction. But anyway, so yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Happy Death Day. I really trust that Christopher Landon will do well, I said Happy Death Day, I meant Scream 7. I do believe that Christopher Landon will do a phenomenal job with that franchise. I just hope that, he'll prove people wrong. And while he'll throw in some comedy, I'm sure he'll go a little harsher with the violence. And I'm sure what he won't do is try to cut corners and take the easy way out, like I felt Radio Silence did with certain parts of the film. Like, really go there with the violence and the killing and remove the goddamn plot armor. Okay, so now our other horror news, there was this story that came out. There's a lot of requels and things going around with David Gordon Green's, Halloween trilogy. We have the requels with that. We had that horrible Texas Chainsaw Massacre film on Netflix where they tried to do a requel situation with the girl that survived in the original movie. They brought her back in this film and they totally wasted her in that damn movie. I hated that fucking film. And now we have Ellen Burstyn coming back for The Exorcist. They're saying that Linda Blair's gonna be in it. I don't know. I saw the trailer. I'm no shade, I'm not that excited for this new Exorcist movie. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with the Halloween trilogy that David Gordon Green did too. I don't think it was bad, but I don't think it was good either. Like, it started out great in the beginning, in my opinion, but I felt like there were certain decisions that were made that just didn't sit right with me. Now, I can go through a whole list of that in a whole nother time, but I don't want to be wrapped up in, going off the cliff with stuff. I want to stick to the topics. So now there was a rumor that was floating around that there's a requel to A Nightmare on Elm Street being produced by Blumhouse. Now, according to the V-Scooper on Twitter, Blumhouse has been secretly working on making a requel of the first entry in the saga. They also state that while they don't have an exact date, this film is a high priority for the studio. Now, for the record, I'm not familiar with V-Scoopers, so I took their tweet with a grain of salt. However, One Take News dug a little deeper into the rumors and brought back some facts that we can discuss. So first and foremost, we have been told that Wes Craven's estate has the rights locked in, which Bloody Disgusting first reported. Now, up until last year, New Line Cinema was the only studio who would have any form of access to said rights. One Take News has heard from multiple sources that Jason Blum has been advocating to get the rights and has been trying to convince the Craven escape for quite a while now. Now, last year, per report from Puck, it was revealed that New Line Cinema, who's released every film in the franchise, was negotiating to maintain the domestic rights on the franchise as well as develop future films. Now, as of now, it is unknown what came of that. Now, here's where it gets complicated. There have been rumors that Craven's estate finally gave in that a bidding war secretly took place amongst the studios for the rights to Elm Street in the last month or two. Now, OTN has only heard of these rumors and haven't been able to corroborate it at the time of the report. Now, the rumor states that Blumhouse won the rights to Elm Street and that they'd be developing the film. So what does this all mean? It said that, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but One Take News has heard that at the time of this article, Blumhouse is not developing a new Elm Street project and that the rights do not belong to them. However, we have not heard whispers of New Line reimagining the rights, but we have not confirmed the news. They reached out to New Line for comment on the matter and will update the article if they respond. And we have not had a Elm Street film since 2010. And Robert Englund, basically, and that was the remake, which I did not think was that good. Robert Englund says he is not coming back as Freddy. So if y'all expected Freddy Krueger to come back and Robert Englund don the sweater one more time, he said he is too old. He does not have the wherewithal and the he can't do more than one take of the physical action sequences that it takes to do the films like he did back in the 80s. So he's not going to be able to do that. Also, he's in his 70s. I'm not sure how old he is, but I think he's probably around mid 70s, mid 40s. I think he's like 75, 76 or something. So yeah, he is way too old to come back and play Freddy Krueger. I feel like we should go younger. I do feel like when they decide to reboot it, definitely go younger. Pick a new Fred Krueger to come in and not do what Robert Englund has done. You know, you can pick an unknown. Quiet as it's kept, Robert Englund was an unknown when he stepped in the role of Freddy Krueger back when they made the original movie in 1984. Nobody knew who he was outside. He did a couple of TV spots and stuff. He was in the miniseries V. He was been in a lot of things. So Robert Englund was a relatively unknown actor when he did that part. We can do that again. I know people wanted Kevin Bacon. He was one of my choices too, but Kevin Bacon is not that far off in age. I believe Kevin is in his 60s. So he might be too old. And if anything, they're probably looking at possibly doing a trilogy, this, that, and the third with A Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, I did say I would love for them to bring back Heather Langenkamp because I loved her as Nancy. They could do maybe she's the, her kids or whatever, passing the torch down on her child, whatever, child's experience and dreams. They can have it be her kid and their friends, and she's interlinked in that in some sort of way. We can't do the whole thing with them in the mental house because, her interlinking, because they did that with Dream Warriors, which is one of my favorites. To me, the first three movies are my favorite. I love the original because scary, it's dark. Freddy was not Mr. Comedy. He was real dark and twisted. And plus, Johnny Depp is in it in his little crop top. Then we have part two, which was the gay one, where they had the male lead, and there was a lot of gay undertones that was put throughout Freddy's Revenge. So that's why I love that movie. And we never had a male final boy or whatever. And I think we need more of those in movies. Why do they always have to be final girls? So it'd be cool to have a final boy type of situation. So I liked part two. And then part three was it was scary, but it was lighthearted, and also the elaborate set pieces and stuff. So I loved part three for that. And the mental hospital, and then everybody had little powers that they could go up against in their dreams, because in your dreams you could be anybody you want. So the fact of the matter was these kids would become this thing, and they would take on Freddy, and some would survive, some would not, and that's why I like that cool idea. Now, Blumhouse taking over the franchise, I don't know if I could see that, simply because Blumhouse, they on a budget when it comes to the type of movies that they make. I don't think they go above 10, 15, maybe 20 million will be pushing it. And so I would say if there is a home that I would like to see A Nightmare on Elm Street end up at, I would go with Paramount. Paramount's got a little more money. And even though they try to act like they don't, because they produce the Scream movies, and I believe the last Scream movie, the budget was $25 million. So you can give them maybe 25, 30 million. And because if you're going to do A Nightmare on Elm Street and you have to do those sequences, the thing you have to focus on is the set pieces. You need those really cool set pieces to do the dream sequence and stuff. Who would also be a good person to direct? I was just thinking about this. A good person to direct And I mean, I would love to see Andy Muschietti direct, because I love the visual spectacle that he brought to Stephen King's It. I loved a lot of the elaborate set pieces. The first, everybody likes the first part more than the second part. But what he did with the It film, I was like, okay, I'm here for it. No, we ain't gonna talk about the Flash, because the Flash is a mess. But I just want to say this: I'm here for a Freddy movie. Who knows if we're gonna get one? Just we still waiting for them to develop and reboot Friday the 13th. I know we're getting a TV show called Crystal Lake on Peacock sometime this year, I believe. But I would love to see a Nightmare on Elm Street come back. And if they do, I say bring somebody younger in. And I'm sure they could figure out what's going on with that. Okay, so let's move on. And thank you for our little Carnage Candy section, which I liked. Well, no, we'll probably be doing this a little more in the future, but I just want to try something out and try something different. Because, I like to experiment. Okay, now, child, speaking of experimenting, Should we give a congratulations to one half of the Island Boys, Flyysoulja, who is opening up about his sexuality? Now, Weeks after facing backlash over performing twincestuous acts on his twin brother Kodak Red, I believe that's how you say his name, in order to create content for their OnlyFans, the rapper slash TikToker revealed via his Instagram that he is, how you doing? Not only is he gay, but he wants everyone to know that he's exclusively a top. He says, I'm a top. I'm never a bottom. He explained during the live stream. You understand what I'm saying? I'm like that for real. I like men, and that's what it is. While many fans were supportive of his sexuality on social media, many still condemned him for kissing his brother. Not one has an issue with you being gay. Stop the incest, though. One user commented on an Instagram post of the video from Hollywood Unlocked. Another one added, okay, but we want to know why you kissing your brother. Just a few weeks ago on July 14, Flyysoulja and Kodak Red told TMZ that they were both straight males and didn't consider kissing each other as a sexual act. The duo also noted how their kissing videos have caused a boost in their subscription numbers on OnlyFans. Now you see why I said that I feel like it's clout chasing? Wait, what's you said Halloween? Oh. I don't know. I was just now reading the screen thinking the last second. But anyway, yeah. So now you see why I said what I said when I was like, I'm not buying when I was opening up the show. Why I'm not buying the BS. I'm not buying that Flyysoulja. And child, let me tell you, when I did this article, I gagged because you guys have no idea how many views this story got on my freaking website. As of today, it's gotten 2,433 views. This is the biggest story that I believe that I have on my website so far. So I guess this is the shit y'all want me to report. But anyway, talking about the Island Boys. First of all, both their ass look like the damn coronavirus. They both do. All them tattoos they got on their face, the stupid little hair that they have spiked out, they literally look like the coronavirus. Then I saw production sent me a video earlier this week where one of the brothers, I don't know which one it was because I can't tell neither one of them apart, was performing, the orals on the other brother. Now, it wasn't like there was an actual member in his mouth. I believe it was a carrot. But he had it between his legs, and the one was down there simulating oral sex. I'm like, what are y'all doing? And people are actually subscribing. Like, to me, first of all, this is some sick shit. But the fact is, y'all are so thirsty for clout that you're literally performing sexual acts. But this is another. Oh, well, yeah, it wasn't. Production was like, not me, DJ. Yeah, it was DJ. Shout out to DJ Baker. He is the one who actually sent it to me. I don't want no part of this shit. He sent me a video. I'm like, what the fuck? And this was on Twitter. So, Elon Musk is down with the foolishness. So yeah. So I saw the video. I'm like, child, what is this? Get this on my line. So yeah, now y'all so thirsty to maintain y'all credibility and y'all so hungry for clout that you will willingly perform sexual acts on your damn brother for attention. And he's for it. And he ain't come out and said nothing about his sexuality. I believe this is there. Like I said, clout chasing. I believe this is all for attention. But ain't no. And if he alluded to it like our OnlyFans numbers went up because we're making out with each other and we're doing sexual acts and we're giving each other hickeys and we're doing all this other stuff. People are gonna buy into that. There's another set of twins that I've seen that punch on social media. I forgot their damn name, but they be on Twitter. They got long hair, white. I believe they even penetrated each other. So this seems to be an ongoing situation where now it's become this trend of siblings hunting each other for money. I would say if you like it, I love it, but child, And number one, another thing, I don't want y'all associating this shit with us because now you put out a stereotype that the gays is out here being incestuous, we perverts, we already got that stereotype floating over our head. But no, we don't want no part of this. So now but I will say this, if you are in fact a member, the G in the LGBTQI elemental P community, If you are that acronym, then congratulations. We welcome you into the family. Welcome to the Pink Mafia. As you know, I'm stealing your line, DJ. That should be Beehive. He called him the Pink Mafia. So it's like, yeah, welcome to the Pink Mafia. Welcome over to our side. Welcome to, we welcome you over arms. But if you're doing this shit for some clout, we're gonna have a problem. I'm gonna have to windmill you like T.S. Madison. But, we already got these issues because we got like Blueface. I just saw the other day, he loved the fact that he got so much attention for insinuating his son was gay because he wouldn't look at no half-naked strippers in the house. Where is, Child Protective Services to come get that kid? Because then the father get on the line again this week talking about, are you gay? The kid don't even know what that is, but you keep indoctrinating this shit and grooming grown people out here, grooming your kids. And then he goes and says, no, I'm not gay. And he goes, my man. Like, okay, so now it seems like you're baiting. You're playing around. You're doing this shit on purpose. You're doing it on camera. You posting something because you know it gets you attention. The more ignorant and more bottom of the barrel you can scrape, it seems like it gets people so much attention. And I'm sick of this shit. You're not going to keep trying to dick ride our community for clout. But then on the other hand, when we out here being our authentic selves, you want to murder us, you want to beat us up, you want to call us all kinds of F words and this, that, and the third, for those of us who's literally out here being ourselves. But then you got these morons out here who's playing with our sexuality for attention. These are our lives that y'all playing with. And I'm not playing with y'all. Y'all gonna get called out and you're gonna curse the fuck out. And that's what we do on this show. So like I said, if old boy Flyysoulja, if you are a part of the community, congratulations and welcome to the community. But if this is a ploy that you're playing for attention, we're gonna have a problem. Okay, sidebar. I forgot to mention when I was talking about Wendy Williams earlier. Did y'all hear the tea that allegedly Kevin Williamson wrote Scream? That Kelvin Hunter wants to get back together with Wendy because he is flat broke. He don't like how money is being managed, so he wants to come back on as her manager. And what he's trying to do is he's trying to use Lil Kev to get back into the fold. And Lil Kev, I guess, because he don't like what's going on over there, and he know his father. The better the devil you know than the one you don't know. He trying to get his father for that. Don't believe it. First of all, Sharina done went back to South Carolina, 100 some new man with the baby and got the baby with her, Journey, the bastard. And now you have nothing. You don't have no money. You're literally broke. You have no medical insurance. You talking about you got to get a procedure done, and he can't even afford medical insurance. Child, you better go down to the welfare. In the words of Precious mother, you better go down to the welfare and get what you need to get. So if you don't have no money to get a procedure done, you can't file for Medicaid. And if you need a job, what they call that license for people to drive trucks? That's what you need to do. Since you like cars so damn much, you like riding around in vehicles, you can get you a truck and be a truck driver. You're gonna have to start doing labor type jobs now, because that cycle of you living the lavish lifestyle that you had every opportunity to save your coins and really put them in stocks or do whatever and live comfortably, them days is gone because you thought you just gonna live off that alimony forever. But Wendy was smart and has the plan. Now your ass is broke. So I don't know if that story, I heard that story floating around, but I will definitely do more research on that as it develops. But that was a tea, and I just wanted to put that out there because I meant to bring that up during the Nene Leakes conversation, but there's just so many things going on that it slipped my mind and just popped in my brain. So I just want to put that out there. But anyway, let's move on and talk about Miss Lizzo. So there's a lot going on with her. Child, I gagged. I really did. I gagged for the gods when I heard this tea about Lizzo. I did not know I still don't know what to believe. Like, I keep going back and forth with a lot of my opinion on this. So y'all might have to call me, in the words of Beyonce, a flip-flopping ass bitch. So, because I'm probably gonna be all over the place with this story. Now, a lawsuit against three dancers was filed against Lizzo. Now, what happened was, because it was filed on Tuesday in LA Superior Court. Now we're just gonna read the accusations, then we can move on, and then we'll talk about the other stuff. because it was a lot happening throughout the week before we got to today's episode. So the lawsuit accuses Lizzo and employees of Big Girl, Big Touring, Inc., and interrogating dancers about their weight and pressuring them to engage in sexually explicit acts at sex shows. It details an incident in Amsterdam this year where staff was allegedly pushed to engage with nude performance, saying Lizzo began inviting cast members to take turns touching the nude performers, catching dildos launched from the performers' vaginas, and eating bananas protruding from the performers' vaginas, states the complaint, which is embedded below. Lizzo allegedly pressured plaintiff Ariana Davis to touch the breast of one of the nude women performing at the club and began leading a chant goading her to do so despite expressing her discomfort. She reluctantly agreed after the chorus became overwhelming, at which point the singer and her staff burst into laughter. Davis, Crystal Williams, and Noel Rodriguez make several allegations in the complaint, including religious and racial harassment, disability discrimination, assault, and false imprisonment. False imprisonment? They've sued Lizzo, real name Melissa Vivian Jefferson, her production company Big Girl, Big Touring, Inc., and Charlene Quigley, captain of the Singles Dance Team. Now, I did see this video of Charlene when the Young Turks was talking about it. And Charlene gives me cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. They said that she was the one that was the indoctrinating, pushing her religion, which I consider that harassment. Like, you try to push your religion on me, you're harassing me, because I don't need you doing that. Like, people need to keep religion all that stuff to themselves. Now, I know it's a slippery slope when you're a performer, because as a performer, I'm down, but I'm not religious and all this stuff. I grew up a Roman Catholic. I am more spiritual than religious. I do follow a more spiritual way of life, where it's like live and let live. I don't get involved in other people's drama, shenanigans, whatever the case is. But this girl, when I saw the video of her, she was in a car and she kept bringing up God every 3 seconds. Like, she said maybe God 30 times in the damn 2-minute video. And I'm like, okay, bitch, you are coming across real weird and real creepy. So I believe him on that, just off of her alone. With what they talking about, the whole religion stuff, and that's Charlene, the captain. Now, I find it funny that someone like Lizzo is all for body positivity, but she would be pressuring girls to remain a certain weight. Now, I do believe that, okay, now if you're dancing on my tour, then I guess maybe she's like, you need to maintain a certain appearance. But then again, if you're big, they're like, well, you got big girl dancers, why they gotta maintain their weight in the center? So that does come across like, okay, so now you're advocating for this, but why are you? But then behind the scenes, you completely different. Which people do that all the time. There be people out here that be trying to act like they for the gays, but they support our community because our community actually has a disposable income, and we support a lot of these has-been performers. But then when they get their ass off the stage, they talk shit about us. Chaos the rapper mentioned this on the brunch show that DJ Baker does every Sunday on Instagram. If you ever catch it, definitely catch it on there. I had to shout out content, and I had to shout out all the girls over there. I live for the lesbians. But anyway, so yeah, they mentioned that where it was basically like, they come to our Pride events and stuff. So I do believe that happens, that people do perpetuate a certain image on camera, but when the cameras is off, completely different people. And I've been saying that for eons. When I told you that I worked behind the scenes with a lot of entertainment things. When I was at VH1, I would see all kinds of stuff with the talent. Now, I should also say, now Lizzo has broken her silence. The story came out on Tuesday, but she didn't speak until 2 days later. And she took her Instagram, and here's what she said. She said, "The last few days have been gut-wrenchingly difficult and overwhelmingly disappointing. My work ethic, morals, and respectfulness have been questioned. My character has been criticized. Usually I choose not to respond to false allegations, but there these are as unbelievable as they sound and too outrageous to not be addressed. These sensationalized stories are coming from former employees who have already publicly admitted that they were told their behavior on tour was inappropriate and unprofessional. As an artist, I have always been very passionate about what I do. I take my music and my performances seriously because at the end of the day, I only want to put out the best art that represents me and my fans. With passion comes hard work and high standards. Sometimes I have made hard decisions, but it is never my intention to make anyone feel uncomfortable or like they aren't valued as an important part of the team. Well, yeah, because I was going to say, they said today she had them performing 12 hours. I said, well, child, y'all will never work for Madonna, because if you heard the tea about Madonna's tour, like she said, they literally said that she was performing rehearsals, which is why her ass was in the hospital, 12 hours a day, doing multiple run-throughs of her show every day, so that way it's indoctrinated in her head. It's in the dancer's head. She wants you to work your ass off. And once upon a time, that was acceptable. Like when you come in, you working for a Beyonce, you working for a Pink, and you work for a perfectionist, you really have to step your pussies up when you perform. And if y'all can't take and sometimes, yeah, it's like you yell and this, that, and that. I'm not saying that's right, but it's like sometimes you gotta, just like being in the military and you're a drill sergeant. Sometimes you gotta be hard on these bitches so that way y'all get up and you actually push through. Don't talk about, a lot of y'all too damn sensitive. This new generation, y'all not gonna make it. The way y'all sit up in here and talk about, oh, so-and-so they yelled at me. Well, bitch, move to the side and have somebody else come in and take that spot since you don't want it so damn bad. That's the one thing. Now, the sexual allegations, where y'all going to the club. Now, Lizzo did allude to this in an interview. I did see this clip floating online that she went and did an interview. Forget who it was, whatever the case was. But she was talking about, I want to go to Amsterdam and I want to go to this club with the girls and the naked girls and the banana and all this stuff. And they told her the name of the place. And she was like, oh yeah, I want to go there. So she alluded that she wanted to go to this club, and clearly she went. So this was the plan. I think her mistake was that Lizzo forgets she's the boss. And lines get blurred sometimes when you are traveling with a crew and it's like you're working, but also you want to go and play. I had the same issue when I was with the circus. When I traveled with them and I was like, I worked a regular job, and people have to realize the entertainment industry is way different. When I was at VH1, the way they, in Viacom, their whole situation, the way they run the offices and how people operate and they work in the cubicles and the center, that energy and the way they operate is way different than a regular corporate suit and tie job. It is not the same. Entertainment industry runs on a whole nother playing field, and it was a culture shock for me versus because I've done both. I've worked in real world corporate type of jobs, and then I've worked the entertainment side, and the worlds are vastly different. So you'll definitely have a huge mind fuck, and then you get used to it and you move on. But when I traveled, I had that same issue of trying to be like, okay, so I'm working, but then I also have to try to find a way to split apart work from being friends. And when you're away from areas that are familiar, it's really hard to separate coworker from friends. It really becomes that blurred. So I feel like Lizzo's issue, she should have taken her dances and stuff to this club. Like, if I'm gonna go to a club where it's sex workers and this, that, and that, if I'm going to red light district, so I'm not taking my damn dances. I'm not taking my crew, and I say, y'all can go do whatever the fuck y'all want. Now, I will have my core friends or assistant, whatever, that, people who I'm genuinely close with, and I'm gonna need y'all to travel with me. Like, it'd be an entourage type situation where it's like I would have my closest friends on the road with me. I'm like, I could be a little stipend or whatever, so that when you be cute and you don't have to worry about. But then you initially become an employee, right? But it was like I would have my friends come with me and whatever, and be like, yeah, let's go to red light district, let's carry. So you need one of those ride or die type friends that's not gonna snitch or whatever the case is. You can't take your employees to no damn sex club, because then you get this type of situation. I didn't want to do this. I felt pressure that I had to go to the club and touch and catch bananas out the girl vagina. So, but then also I should point out before we wrap this up that the dancers are slamming or Lizzo's statement, saying that Lizzo has failed her own brand and has let down her fans. Ariana Davis, Crystal Williams, and Noel Rodriguez said in a statement to Page Six Thursday via their attorney, Ron Zambrano. Her denial of the reprehensible behavior only adds to our client's emotional distress. The dancers then slammed Lizzo's dismissive comments about her situation and utter lack of empathy, stating that they are quite telling about her character. I think they meant to say that. Well, it says stating that they're quite telling about her character and alleging they only serve to minimize the trauma she has caused the plaintiffs and either employees who have now come forward sharing their own negative experiences. Because I said the one I believe really so far is the director, the one that was supposed to direct her documentary that I think aired on HBO. I believe her because she has nothing to gain from it. She's not even filing a lawsuit. She just came out and said, yeah, I had a bad experience. I jumped ship because Lizzo's attitude was stink. And then I saw there was another article where it said that she's felt blindsided by the former dancer's allegations, saying that a close source told People she's been building and building her life and her career and getting achievement after achievement. It blindsided her and her team, and there's a wake-up call that a lot of it can be instantly diminished by something like this just overnight. Now, to me, I feel like that statement was tone deaf. First of all, why would you sit up here and say she's been building and building her life and career and getting achievement after achievement? So is that the reason why you do all this? Because you want your achievements, you want your accolades, you want to sit up here and be pro-fat girl? Like, this is your whole platform, and you feel like people are coming, big girls who are part of the very platform that you built yourself up to be, this pro-big girl type of cheerleader. Now they're coming for your gig, and they're trying to take down your kingdom, and now you feel like you talking about you blindsided. To me, I didn't like the thing about her allegedly being blindsided. That just made you seem like it was a tone deaf situation and like you just don't get it. Like, oh my God, why are they attacking me? Girl, just handle this shit in court. Now, the question remains as we have at the lower third, can Lizzo bounce back? Well, I think all of this, wouldn't it be hard to prove in court, all these accusations and this, that, and the third? Because they'll be like, you went to the club and you were equal participant, but then they could also say because Lizzo's the boss, and if you don't listen to your boss and you want to go off and do whatever the hell you want, then you won't be respected, or you won't get away with whatever, they won't, you'll pretty much get treated differently, or Lizzo will find a way to fire you or do whatever. So I don't know. If they can prove all this in court, we'll see. Can Lizzo bounce back? I'm not sure, because the way y'all drag and screw people's, like, destroy people's careers over hearsay when it should be innocent until proven guilty. But y'all always quick to be guilty before proven innocent. Look at how y'all did Jonathan Majors. Now we found out the girl that filed the charge, she fled the country. So that's why they had to postpone his original court date. He showed up with a whole Bible with a whole black woman. But now he like black pussy. Now that the shit, he up Shit's Creek without a paddle. It's your own people come running back home, right? When the shit hit the fan. But any other time, y'all go after the white women. It's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. But can Lizzo bounce back? I don't know. For those of you who are, in the comments, you can leave a comment. Let me know if you feel that she could bounce back from this. I don't know, because the world we live in now is fickle. I do believe that we are a forgiving nation, that after a while we will forgive and we'll give people opportunities and a chance. But I feel like now that Lizzo has this reputation, people gonna be giving her the side eye. People gonna be, the memes are gonna be forever. We're gonna definitely be paying a lot more attention to Lizzo, real close to Lizzo. And I'm sure that we'll probably, for the next couple of weeks, we'll be hearing more people coming out with their own stories and this, that, and the other about how they were done dirty. We even had one girl who came out, was talking about Lizzo's current boyfriend, who, is mentioned in the documentary, how she was dating him for 10 years and Lizzo came along and took him away. First of all, can't nobody take nobody away who ain't willing to go with them. So if he was a willing part, he's just as willing of a participant as Lizzo is. So at the end of the day, I'll keep you guys posted on this story, because I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. And we definitely going to be probably talking about it probably to the end of the damn year. So we'll see where this case goes and how they handle it. All right, so apparently Cardi B is off the hook in regards to the case of the rapper throwing her mic at a concert goer while performing in Las Vegas last weekend. Now, After a thorough review of this case and with all the consultation from the Clark County District Attorney's Office, this case has been closed as having insufficient evidence. No charges will be filed in relation to the case, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department said in a statement. Cardi B was born. I'm not going to say her name. Y'all can look it up. But that's a whole damn mouthful. Who the hell would name their child Bell Callis? However the fuck you say all that shit. But anyway, Cardi B hurled the microphone in reaction to the tossed drink at a July 29th Las Vegas performance video showed. A woman who said she was struck filed a police report for battery. Now, on behalf of Cardi, we appreciate the LV, which would be Las Vegas, Metropolitan Police Department's diligent and prompt resolution of the matter. Attorneys on behalf of the musicians said in a statement. There have been a number of recent incidences in which people at concert crowds have thrown items and performers on stage. And that's why I said, you know what? We've had, if Will Smith come back, well, has Will Smith really come back though? I don't know if people have moved on from the whole Will Smith situation. I don't know. I keep hearing conflicting situations. There's some people that have moved on from it. There's some people that still love to throw it in his face. But, yeah, so with Cardi B, BB Rexa got attacked, Harry Styles got attacked, there's been this ongoing attack. However, this case is different because Cardi encouraged people to throw drinks on her, but she said, I told y'all to wet my pussy. Girl, why everything gotta be connected to your vagina? Is Offset not giving you enough dick? Because you keep always trying to, strategize everything to your coochie. You always trying to get your coochie scratched or your coochie wet or something done to your coochie. I'm tired of you talking about your WAP. We need to move on from that. But overall, she encouraged people to throw drinks on her. However, and I have to say this, you can't tell people to do something and then try to control how it's done. Because by the time you got to the other side of the stage, the other girl threw the drink, but I think her aim was off. She probably was drunk. So the liquid went too high and it got in your wig. It got on your face, whatever the case was, and she got mad. But Cardi, you cannot be out here retaliating like you a hood. Well, you are a hood chick, but you can't be out here retaliating that crazy way. And it's funnily enough, not too long ago, I was up here saying, if people threw a drink on me like they did, like if I was performing on stage like BB Rexa and Ava Max and all these other people, and you threw something at me and you attacked me, I'm mollywopping your ass. You getting a full beat down. But then you get in a situation where Cardi B gets a charge on her, but she got away with it. But there needs to be a situation put in place where we need better security. We need and we need a way of these kids up in here. They need to pass a law that, you know what, because I heard of the guy that actually hit BB Rexa with a phone. I forgot what the charter was. They really going after him. They really going to set an example with him. But I do feel like they need to pass a law that protects artists who are just up there trying to perform and do a show. Why do they have to worry about possibly, dodging objects like they in a damn, like Neo in the Matrix? Like, I should not have to be doing fucking free your mind bullet time moves, dodging objects because y'all want to see if it hits them or not. Like, come on. Like, there needs to be repercussions and there needs to be protection for artists. Like, artists should not get, you're not paying me to get up there and be beat and abused. So we need to do better with that. But Cardi, also people like Cardi, celebrities, stop telling people to wet you or do whatever or throw things at you or do this other stuff. You want if you hot, drink some fucking water. Have them bring you some chilled water and leave it on the stage. You can have a little, if you want to keep it at a certain temperature, have them come out with a little bucket. But then again, if it's hot out there, that ice gonna melt, especially in Vegas. So have them, have some water and, drink between your sets and this, that, and the third. Roro says, I think they can still file a civil lawsuit against, well, we'll see. But apparently she's been cleared for now. But if they're going to file another lawsuit, then we'll see how that goes. Now, speaking of reality stars and rappers who need to keep their goddamn hands to themselves, Let's talk about Joseline Hernandez. So, reality TV troublemaker and wannabe pimp Joseline Hernandez has been slapped with 2 more felony charges from her backstage brawl at a Floyd Mayweather fight. Now, per TMZ, Hernandez was in court on Thursday for her arraignment when the judge dropped the bad news. Prosecutors are charging her with 2 felony counts of battery on a law enforcement officer. Joseline stood before the judge stone-faced, probably because she was high as a goddamn kite, as she explained why she needed to be taken into custody again and booked on the new felony charges. Now, in the video, it seems like she won't be spending much of her day in jail, but she's probably going to end up with a felony on her situation, and she might get probation, something or another. But if I was them, I'd have locked Joseline messy ass up. First of all, she need to grow the fuck up. I don't know, what is she, almost 40? You out here fighting people for clout because Zeus Network encourages this damn foolishness. So she's on TV drinking and fighting and acting a fool and trying to act like she a goddamn pimp. Sis, you are not Kris Jenner. Like, stop trying to pimp out with these girls like Kris Jenner pimps out her damn daughters for a coin. You're not that good at it. So I don't understand why she just continues to come up in here and just does all this fighting and said, oh yeah, I'm saying I don't know why, but I do know why, because Lemmy Bone, fucking Sid from Ice Age looking ass is over here, picking these, encouraging this shit for views and clicks and money. So this is what he does when it was like he give these girls these opportunities. Him and long chin ass Natalie Nunn over with baddies and all that other foolishness, like just encouraging these bros to be up in here fighting for what? For a couple $100,000? Like, I just don't. And funnily enough, it happened at the Floyd Mayweather fight, which I think Floyd Mayweather has been doing some stuff with Zeus, but there needs to come a point where we stop rewarding people for being a nuisance and bad behavior. And the fact that, Joseline, you have a child. And it's like, damn, I don't even know who the better parent, you or Stevie J. Y'all both horrible human fucking beings. So I pity the kid. But this whole thing with her running around fighting under the influence of who knows what, and totally out of it, just putting her hands on everybody and anybody who gets in her way, including Ballistic, her husband. I'm thinking that's her husband. But this behavior needs to, like, we gotta stop rewarding people for being violent and being crazy and stuff like that, because you put your hands on the wrong person, she's gonna end up 6 feet under. So you gotta be careful who you putting your hands on in these good old streets. Okay, so good luck to you, Joseline. We'll definitely keep an eye on you with this whole story and see what happens with that. But you keep it up, they're gonna lock your ass up for real. Okay, so let's get, I want to give you guys an update on what's been going on with Tori Spelling and that whole situation. So for the past couple of weeks, we've been hearing stories regarding Tori Spelling's shrinking finances and how she's been previously living in a $100 a night motel. I did show y'all the pictures when, we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Now she's been living in a motel, and then she was caught outside of a Target, and TMZ was asking questions, and she was like, are you a parent, and this, that, and the third? Like, you would do anything for your kids, and this, that, and the third. Then this week, another story came out where they said that Tori and the kids are currently living in an RV on a campground in Ventura County, California. Now, despite all of that, allegedly, when I said with all the other stuff, allegedly with Joseline, allegedly with this story, but we got a clip of the whole Tori Spelling thing. What I will say on this whole situation is that, we've been saying what has been going on with Tori. Like, we were saying, in all of this, I've been like, where is Candy? Where the hell is Candy? Why Candy ain't stepped up? And
okay, well, is it safe to say that you might be getting a divorce?
I always look better on my own.
Okay, well, I mean, have you been in contact with him at all? There's been obviously a lot mentioned in the media recently about you staying in this motel. Why were you staying in like a cheap motel?
Are you a parent? You know you would do whatever you can for your kids, right?
And I guess she has. I mean, look, a sidebar, I live for Target and I live for Kohl's. Yeah, I'm at that age where I love going to Kohl's. I love going to Target. Shit, you might even see me in a Walmart. Ever since when I was traveling with the circus and it was like nothing around, and we were up in New Jersey doing rehearsals and this, that, and the third before we came down and actually presented the show to like the audiences as we was traveling. My safe haven was Walmart. We used to go there. I used to look forward to those Walmart runs because it was so damn boring. It was nothing to do in New Jersey because we was in the way down in the jungle deep of Jersey. So it was like we needed something to do, and I was like, "Child, we would go to these Walmart runs." I used to have a good old time just shopping for a bunch of bullshit. But anyway, let me start having my little Target, Kohl's, Walmart fantasy, and let's get back to the story. So, we were trying to find out where the hell's Candy been in this whole situation. Well, apparently, we've been dogging Candy, but Candy did try to help her daughter. So, according to reports, it said Candy spent hours on the phone trying to find a house for Tori and the kids. However, Tori declined to move in because, according to the insiders, she wanted to live in a certain place. So it is fine. They should live where they want to live, the source adds. According to a new report, the Beverly Hills 90210 alum has been struggling monetarily after her husband, Dean McDermott, announced a since-deleted Instagram statement that they are ending their 17-year marriage. Sidebar, where the fuck is Dean in all of this? Like, we haven't heard nothing from him. He's been nowhere to be found. And here we got Tori living in an RV with her damn kids, which would be Liam 16, Stella 15, Hattie 11, Finn 10, and Bo 6. Girl, her uterus was busy. In early July. Most recently, the family, Sans McDermott, was photographed living in an RV. Now, following the photographs, the socialite was slammed as selfish and shameful for seemingly ignoring her daughter's financial crisis. But the source stresses that the situation is more complicated than meets the eye. One of the problems is Tori doesn't speak to anyone on the phone, the insider complains, and Tori is trying to make Candy look like the bad guy. Candy found her a house, and that's the last I heard. The source adds that Candy has paid the rent on Tori's previous house, which the actress was forced to move out of due to a severe mold problem that was making the entire family sick. We now know that when the house was labeled a health hazard and not livable, that wording was fact, Tori wrote via Instagram in May. We now get it. It's hard to just uproot a huge family, especially in midst of all feeling so sick and in bed, but we now will vacate the home ASAP. Meanwhile, Candy and Tori have always had a fractured relationship. And yeah, we've known about that for all the years. In fact, Candy even accused Tori of hastening her husband, producer Aaron Spelling's death in 2006, saying, "My daughter one day decided that she wasn't speaking to my husband, myself, and my son, and that's how it's continued for the last, 4 or 5 years," Candy told 94.7 WMAS FM Kellogg Crew in 2009. And it was sad. That's what killed my husband, actually. He just didn't want to live after that. The two even traded public barbs over Candy being able to see her grandchildren. But last year, the storytelling author shared that her relationship with her mom had dramatically improved, saying, "It's like next level right now," she said on Sirius XM's Jeff Lewis Live. "I'm really, really happy." Seemingly, they have their mutual friend, $1 Million Listing alum Josh Flagg, to thank for helping them with the reconciliation. Saying, "I hadn't seen her once before COVID," Tori shared, and then Josh was like, "Okay, we're going to do a family dinner at her place." So we went and had a great night. Tori and Flagg are like brother and sister, and Candy is like a second mom to Josh, a source tells Page 6, adding that they've been trying to get her a house for months. Now, according to reports, Candy was going to help pay for the new house, but it's unclear how much. Now, insiders are speculating that Tori's housing antics may be a gimmick to get back on TV. Oh, she pulling a Kim Zolciak? With one telling us, "I bet she's doing a reality show. Next, she'll be at the welfare office with the kids getting food stamps, I bet you." The first source quipped, "She must have the paparazzi living at the trailer park. When have you ever seen the Paps at Walmart? It's definitely a book deal or some kind of series in the works. It's like poor little rich girl." Per the source, the bottom line is that Josh and Candy have been doing everything they can to get Tori into a house, and they just can't make headway. No one knows why she went to a hotel and why she's in an RV. It makes no sense. He sends her listings every day. Despite the small blip, our source confirms that Candy 77 and Tori 50 are currently still in contact. They said, Tori is a 50-year-old woman that's gone through $17 million, the source claims, and she always blamed her mother for everything. So she's a 50-year-old woman. But now, for the first time in a long time, they're speaking. So it's not like they're adversarial. They're trying to address this problem. I think it was adversarial. I said that wrong. And so it's not like they're adversarial. They're trying to arrest this problem. But there are so many extenuating circumstances. Trust me, it's not what it seems to be. Child, this is a mess. And I tend to believe that, you know what? Candy probably did. Candy was probably trying to find her daughter a house. Josh Flagg's $1 million listing was giving her listings, like, look at these houses. But she didn't want to look at it. And she's about, I want to live in a specific area. You have every right to be picky and want to live where you want to live, but not on my dime. You don't. If I'm trying to find you a house that you and the kids can live in and y'all can be comfortable and I'm paying the bills because you allegedly ran through $17 million and I'm trying to help you out because you're horrible with money. I don't know how this girl went through all that money. I guess some people would consider $17 not a lot, but it is for me. Shit, I ain't got $17 million. I don't even have $1 million in the damn bank. So, I just look at it as like, yeah, this is rich people problems. This is, who knows? Maybe this is a ploy for a reality show. A lot of these reality stars, a lot of y'all pulling a lot of stunts and shows for a show. Like we heard Kim Zolciak was trying to do that with this fake out of a divorce with her and Croy, and now you got, Tori allegedly trying to do the same damn thing. Who was that? Well, I thought that was the chick that used to date Jim Carrey from Picket Fences. That's what that looked like. Why am I thinking Holly Marie Combs? No, Holly Marie Combs was Lauren Holly. That's what I'm looking. That's what that looked like. I was like, look, I'm thinking Holly Marie Combs. I said, wait, Holly Marie Combs, that is Piper from Charmed. Why am I thinking about Piper from Charmed? But anyway, yeah, so it's unfortunate that that Tori has allowed herself to get in this situation. Is a bit screwed up. But girl, I don't know how you're gonna get yourself out of this situation. But if I was in a situation where my parent was wealthy and secured $600 million of my daddy's fortune, you don't think that if my mother was trying to help me find a house, which my mother did say this to me once, she was like, if I ever win a lottery, yeah, I would buy each of my kids a house and they could stay up in it. Like, that would be the thing. I was like, okay, now if I'm going to try to find you a house, it'd be like, okay, let's find you a house. But I guess maybe she didn't want to choose the house because when you got 5 kids at school, you don't want to uproot them and be like, oh, now I got to find a new school for them and I got to transfer them out of here and go to. So it's a whole lot of factors that plays into when you're trying to find a house and with your kids. But girl, if you're not someone who can live, if you're living beyond your means, you just got to take whatever. And if living in an RV is entertaining enough for you to try to get a reality show, I mean, good luck. I won't be watching, but good luck. Anyway, so let's take a break. But before we do, when we come back, we're gonna talk. Ricky Martin and Juwan are finally open about their divorce. Madonna thanking her family and friends for support following her health scare. Kylie Sonique Love is calling out celebrities who won't pay drag queens when they're performing. Shea Kool-Aid threw iced coffee at a racist homophobe. And we're going to talk about some celebrity deaths. The deaths of Angus Cloud from Euphoria and Pee Wee Herman passing away at the age of 70. But before we do that, I feel like I need to do a special shout out to none other than New York City dancer O'Shea Sibley. Now, for the record, I did not. Oh, yeah, and we're going to also talk Dwayne Johnson, the whole Black Adam thing. But O'Shea Sibley, I had no idea. I'm not familiar with who he is, but this really hit me because number one, the circumstance of what happened, and number two, there are people that I know that actually knew O'Shea. So shout out to Jay and shout out to Justice, 2 friends of mine who actually are familiar with O'Shea in the world of dance and performance and the arts and that sort of thing. So I have friends who actually knew him, so that's why it just kind of like hit. But I will say this. When I first heard the story, I was like, I gagged and I was shocked like this had happened. And I saw like Kevin Aviance was there at yesterday where they did the whole there was a Vogue situation that happened yesterday that a lot of the girls showed up and showed out for. So shout out to them. Even Beyonce paid tribute and was like rest in power. She said on her website. Um there was also Whoopi Goldberg at The View basically gave her condolences. Yeah, so there was an emergency action, Justice for O'Shea Sibley, that took place yesterday on the 4th at 6 p.m. at the mobile gas station on 1935 Coney Island Avenue in Brooklyn. A lot of the gays, they showed up and showed out. I saw all the videos on social media, on Twitter, particularly Twitter, on TikTok specifically where the kids were out there voguing. They had the area blocked off, and the police was there, so they knew this was happening. The kids was out there, pop dipping and spinning on that concrete. I did see the one video where they showed the white racist lady she made some type of comment. I couldn't really make out what she said. Personally, I didn't give a shit because you're not gonna have one crazy ass person come out here and just ruin a moment. Because the one thing y'all always want to do is y'all want to get black people riled up. But what angered me about this is that the fact that this kid, the person that stabbed O'Shea, was 17 years old, and he basically was like, first of all, O'Shea and his friends, they were playing Beyonce, they were filling up the gas in the car, and in the meantime, while they filling up the gas, they we'll get to the OTA clip in a second because he was a part of OTA, and a lot of the kids vote down at the OTA, but and he was he was they were outside dancing to Beyonce and that's why she paid, her respects and put rest in power on her page and all this stuff. So they were just out there dancing, but apparently this kid had a problem with it and basically alluded that his religious beliefs does not agree with what O'Shea's lifestyle, whatever the case was. This was corroborated by the gas station attendant who is also Muslim. So we have this kid and when I'm not saying all Muslims like this, because Muslims believe in peace. They're all about keeping the peace. They're not about the violence in this and that. Now, there are some that when you go to certain countries that are indoctrinated where they feel like they do the honor killings. So they daughter, the husband, the fathers and the brothers or whatever, they kill their own sister and daughter because she does something that is deemed unworthy of being a woman. This is what they do in a lot of these countries. And also when it comes to homosexuality, you get stoned to death, they throw off roofs. I've seen the videos where they literally murdered people over this. I remember I had a roommate that had to literally seek asylum in America because he lived in Egypt and they were going to be gay. It was either, excuse me, it was going to comply financially because it was like trying to catch him up in this whole grinder situation. He was going to meet up with this guy on Grinder. Turned out it was a cop. They were trying. So it's all kind of crazy stuff that they do in a lot of these countries. And I don't know if this kid is an immigrant or if he was born here. But here's the thing: when you come to America, this country, even though it was built on the backs of black people, we can go into the whole conversation about slavery and all that other mess. But what this country is built is what we value in America is the fact that this is the land of the free, meaning that people are free to express themselves, to be who they are, and to do what they want to do in this country within means, because you can't go around killing people that this idiot did. But people should have a right to express themselves how they see fit. And O'Shea is a dancer, so he expresses himself through dance. If you feel the kind of way about some shit, mind your business, walk away, go do what you got to do. Who are you to take someone's life based off of their sexual orientation? And this is what irritates me also is the fact that I haven't heard a lot of big media come out and talk about this. We've heard a couple of people make a couple of comments. I saw, Kevin Aviance talked about it on the news when he was interviewed. Like I said, Whoopi Goldberg mentioned it. There've been a couple of the Young Turks. There was a couple of the other like shows have mentioned and stuff. But this should be bigger. This story should be a lot bigger than the attention that it's not getting. And where are the white allies? Like any other time, y'all want to use black people when y'all want to get y'all little shit going. But when it comes to black lives getting killed and trans lives and this and the other, fucking silent. And your silent is deafening. So, um, I should point out, because we do have light at the end of the tunnel, besides the fact that, the whole O'Shea situation, the suspect, I believe, because they said he was at large, the police ain't find him and none of this other stuff. The 17-year-old male who was wanted in connection with the fatal stabbing of Sibley, the 28-year-old black gay man who was stabbed in the torso on July 29th around 11 p.m. at a gas station in Brooklyn, has turned himself in to the police. They said the unidentified suspect turned himself in accompanied by an attorney. According to police sources, he is charged with the murder as a hate crime and criminal possession of a weapon. Police sources have said those charges are subject to change once the Brooklyn district attorney takes over the case. Now, in a video posted on Facebook, Sibley's friend Otis Pena said he and Sibley were among a group of friends that were voguing and dancing at a gas station while pumping gas when they were confronted by another group. According to Pena, the group hurled homophobic slurs at Sibley's group. The confrontation then turned violent, and Sibley was stabbed. Sibley was pronounced dead at a local hospital. Police say they are trying to move quickly to establish what happened and whether this was a biased crime. Child, it was. Now, somebody come out their mouth and call me all kinds of F words and this, that, and the third, and you say that your religion, you hide behind your religion and say that your religion says that I should kill you because you're gay and I don't agree with your lifestyle, then yes, it is a hate crime. The police get on my fucking nerves. Y'all really do. Because the same shit that y'all did, it's like we've seen this pattern repeated before. The situation that went with what's the two HBO documentaries that's currently running. The one about the stroll, how y'all handle the LGBTQ community, particularly the trans community, and then there's another one that's that just wrapped this past Sunday. Um the what is it? The Last Call, which I know people hated that title, that he was referred to as the Last Call killer. There was this guy that worked at St. Vincent Hospital that was hooking up with that was meeting gay men at night at a specific establishment, and then these people ended up missing. They ended up dismembered and splattered all over different parts of upstate and all these other places. So, and how the police handle that situation. So I'm not surprised of how the cops is going to handle this and talk about we don't know if it's a hate crime. It's a fucking hate crime. Get out my off my line with that. But so yeah, he was oh yeah, and Eric Adams talked about it, but I can't stand that damn mayor. But anyway, yeah, I just want to say we lost somebody who was just immensely talented and expressive. And you know what also gagged me? I had no idea about this. He was a damn Virgo. I said, now he my sign. And his birthday is a day before mine, September 1st. Mine is September 2nd. So that even hit me even more when I saw that because they was talking about a memorial that I think they did today. And then saw that O'Shea's birthday was September 1st. I'm like, well, damn, his birthday was literally is literally 3 weeks away. And now he's not going to be able to celebrate it because his life was cut short. So let's play this clip of O'Shea top dipping and spinning at OTA, and then we're going to take a break, and then we'll come back with the rest of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. We take the commercial break. my opinion and carry Annie. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
On you, Miranda. Kiki, I just want to give you your flowers. You are a boss ass girl.
You are
amazing. I'm so proud of you.
Kiki.
I remember you on your show for Disney Channel, and then they were like, "We got Kiki Palmer." I was like, "Oh yeah, y'all got another black girl on the network," and you blew the heck up. And I am so proud of you from when you were hosting that BET. Remember the reboot show, and I remember I went out for it. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't. You're talking about the game.
No. This was a long time ago, Kiki. It was a reboot of another show that was on BET a long time ago where people came and talked or whatever. Anyway, normally, when somebody else gets a job that I'm out for, I'm like, God damn it. But when you got it, I'm like, immediately, yes. She deserves it. Like everything you do.
Yeah, I know why she got it.
I know exactly. Yeah, I know why she got it, and I'm not mad at it. Everything you do, I am so proud of you at every single moment, and I cannot wait to see the Oprah that you step on in order to get to where. I'm sorry.
Take that wig off when he gets to that jailhouse, bitch. Listen. Hold on, let me, cause they play young, said they gonna turn my radio off in the back. Bitch, listen, what the fuck is y'all gonna get that nigga? Y'all better get that nigga some boho, cause he gonna need that shit, cause bitch, that nigga, or somebody better go down there, somebody better get him, somebody better go down there and sew that shit in, cause he gonna need some motherfucker. He gonna need that shit sold down. Hold on. Legger, it's Christmas. What we get Tori later? We get him some boho. We gotta get that nigga some boho, cause they gonna take that wig off soon as he get in the motherfucking population. That wig got to go. Cause I'm one of them hoes. They took my wig when I got to jail. So what's gonna happen with that nigga? I told you. Stop right now, because none of us forwarded them text messages back in 2008. Remember that shit that it was like, forward this message or you will have 20 years of bad luck.
Oh, look, we're back. Oh, I had to send out a little quick text because I saw somebody was talking about the whole A Nightmare on Elm Street Requel reboot situation. And I was like, oh, I just talked about that. So, I'll be editing them videos tomorrow and Monday, most likely because, I do cut up the show. And I was like, I'm going to put it up on YouTube, but child, if the YouTube subscriptions don't catch up to the fact that that the videos are starting to surpass the amount of people that actually subscribe, but I get a lot of people that watch but y'all don't subscribe and all the other stuff. Like, I need y'all to subscribe to the damn show, so hit the like and subscribe below. So I said I'm not going to edit down the shorter episodes. I'm gonna put it on TikTok, I'll put it other places, but on YouTube I'm not going to try to post like 8-9 short videos and then people aren't subscribing. Although I did get, like, I believe 3 new subscribers this week, and then it was like 3 last week, so little by little it's creeping. But YouTube, y'all gotta do better, because I see how y'all push out certain bloggers and certain I hate the word influencer, certain people that do the type of shows that we do, but then there's some of us that y'all don't push. But whatever, I'm gonna keep doing what I do. Anyway, welcome back to the show. Thank you all for still sticking around, even though we're 2 hours and a half in. So let's get through these topics. Now, let's talk about Dwayne Johnson. Now, while appearing on an episode of Heart to Heart, Dwayne Johnson finally revealed why the DCU won't be moving forward with a sequel to Black Adam, despite the character's popularity. Now, during his visit to Kevin Hart's Heart to Heart show, the former professional wrestler was tasked with a controversy cancellation of his plans to expand the DC extended universe with, I hate the DCEU term. It's DCU. It's the DC universe with Black Adam. According to Johnson, James Gunn taking over the reins had something to do with it, falling apart, and he walked into a bad situation. Black Adam was Johnson's biggest opening of his career and brought in $393 million off a reported budget of $190 to $260 million, making it the best performing movie for DC since Aquaman in 2018. The film was supposed to restart the DCU, but the hiring of James Gunn and Peter Safran changed all that, saying, and I quote, "I think that Black Adam got caught in a vortex of new leadership, and at the time we were creating Black Man, as we were creating Black Adam, developing it, shooting Black Adam, we got knocked down a little bit because of COVID and the shutdowns, and got back up. There were so many changes in leadership." Johnson said. He continued, "As you know, anytime you have a company, but especially that size of magnitude, that is a public traded company, and you have all those changes in leadership, you have people coming in who creatively, fiscally are going to make decisions that you may not agree with philosophically. I think Black Adam was one of those movies that got caught in the web of the new leadership." Johnson could be referring to Gunn having a plan in place to turn the universe around with his ideas once he was hired as the new head of DC. That may have caused a problem for movie star to implement his own plans, despite fans getting excited over his decision to include Henry Cavill in a post-credit scene. And he quotes, and that will always be one of the biggest mysteries, I think, not only for me and us on our end, but also throughout the business, because that's a Kevin question, continued Johnson. But that was a question out of Wall Street. That was a question out of Hollywood. That was a question like, wait a second, you had the biggest opening of your career. The 51-year-old also brought up the fact that Black Adam wasn't released in China, which resulted in a loss of at least $100 to $200 million at the box office. The Black Adam saw it released in China and made that potential money. Johnson's plans for the DC extended universe may not have gotten the axe. James Gunn recently announced that Superman Legacy is scheduled to drop in 2025, and it's the first movie in the new DCU canon. Here's the thing. Oh, speaking of James Gunn, I actually watched Guardians of the Galaxy on Friday because I didn't even know it dropped. I went on a whole thing on social media. I was like, why nobody told me that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was on Disney Plus? And then one of my friends goes, Guardians of the Galaxy is on Disney Plus. He wrote that in the comments. I was like, okay, bitch. But it was like, I didn't know. And so they were like, oh, these advertisements. I said, I don't watch advertisements like that. If anything, I avoid advertisements like the play, even though now I'm hearing that I shouldn't because that pays a lot of the bills for a lot of things. So you should keep the ads and watch the ads. But I didn't know because I don't be on Disney Plus like that. I've been kind of disappointed with a lot of Disney Plus's content. As of late, I know a lot of people was disappointed with Secret Invasion. I haven't even got around to watching that yet. But I finally watched Guardians of the Galaxy, and I thoroughly thought out of so many of the things that come out of Phase 4, that was the one I really enjoyed. And I actually like James Gunn's style. I love his directing style. I like the way he writes characters. The characters are always very much wild and very they're not like your typical superhero. So I'm definitely curious to see what James Gunn brings to the new revamped DCU. I did hear some tea about that Gal Gadot may be coming back to film another Wonder Woman to give her closure and close out that one that Patty Jenkins was supposed to do, and they're not. And people are mad. They're like, this is confusing. How are you revamping the whole thing? And you got rid of Henry Cavill. We're definitely not getting Ezra Miller back because the Flash bombed big time at the box office. So not even going to attempt to work with Ezra Miller again and give them a sequel. So we can pretty much say goodbye to that. We saw what you did to Batfleck. We're not getting a solo Batman movie, and you had his scenes cut in so many other movies. And I heard they cut it out of Aquaman. I don't know. This is a lot of changes in the regime going around, and y'all trying to play based off how the box office does with certain films, if it'll affect the other film down the road. But y'all giving Gal Gadot, and I love Gal Gadot, so I don't mind seeing her as Wonder Woman once more. But that's some people are going to be confused with that. Nevertheless, let's talk about Black Adam. So, when Black Adam says, okay, so yes, it was the biggest opening of Dwayne Johnson's career. However, he did not sustain the numbers that they want when you are this movie star. It didn't keep building. It's not like Barbie, where Barbie's numbers continue to go up every week. They're about to cross $1 billion at the box office. So Black Adam did not do that. Like, it brought in $393.3 million. The budget for the movie was $190 to $260 million, not even including the marketing. And I'm sure the marketing was probably like close to $50-60 million. You have to make that back. If your movie is on that kind of budget of a $260 million, you got to at least do Fast and the Furious numbers. Like, you got to at least get close to $700 million worldwide. Like, that is a number you need to be bringing in. So Black Adam, while you're sitting there while Kevin Hart's blowing smoke up your ass and saying all this other stuff, fiscally, it did not make the money that it needed to make for the movie to get a sequel. And that's just a fact. Number two, while I was entertained by Black Adam, but I could sit through it and watch it. I watched it twice. I watched it when I was living in Harlem with my roommates, and I watched it the first. I figured if I went by myself or with my friends, because I've been going by myself so much to the movies this year. And then there've been times I've been going with friends, but I always forget which movies I see with my friends and which movies I go see by myself. But for the most part, I've been going to the movies by myself. So we'll just sit and say I went alone. So I went to go watch Black Adam in the theater, and I actually had a good time with it. But the movie does have its flaws. The whole premise seems a bit outdated. Like, there was a lot of superhero cliches that was thrown in it. I did like Dwayne. I don't know. Dwayne Johnson was playing the role a little one note. I know he was trying to do like a whole dark superhero, anti-hero. Like, he was trying to go on that vibe where it was like the opposite of Superman, where he does kill people and all this other stuff. So I like the ideas of where they were trying to go, and I love the fact that the cast was diverse and they had a lot of people of color in it. I did love that. However, the movie wasn't executed well. I also thought that the Justice Society, I feel like they just felt like the Justice League, where y'all just threw them in there, but there was no build-up. Like, I needed build-up to feel like these characters deserve to be sitting there. I did love Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, though. Like, I definitely lived for that. And I love me some Aldous Hodge. Like, he could act his ass off. Like, and he definitely did a good job. He definitely did his thing as Hawkman, I believe it was. I'll be trying to remember the names because I love superhero movies, but I'm not big on the whole superhero comic book thing. So if I make a mistake, I apologize. But I believe his character's name was Hawkman. I did like Aldous Hodge in there. And that, pretty much the kid in the movie was annoying. He really was. But And the movie had its flaws, but I understand COVID had a part in it. There was probably some, even though Dwayne Johnson is one of the biggest movie stars in the industry, we know how this industry can be when it comes to people of color. There's that low key racism that goes along with it, no matter how hard you play the game. So I expected a lot more from Black Adam, and it would have been great to have that opportunity for them to explore that in the sequels. However, whenever you get a new regime come in, they have their own ideas, and the people that were there that understand the product, that understand the talent they're picking, and understand the direction, once they're ousted, they don't have that control. So now when Walter Hamada is not there to protect you and all these other people, the Peter Zaffers, the David Zaslav, all of them going to come in and like, we got to clear house, and whoever's not making us coins, they got to go. And Black Adam just didn't do what needed to be done, and that's why it's been put on the it's been scrapped. And I do feel bad for Henry Cavill, because I would have loved to have seen him play Superman in a Man of Steel 2 or going up against Black Adam in a sequel. I would have really loved for that to happen. And look, Henry Cavill actually left doing The Witcher so he could do Superman, and then this shit happens. So fortunately, it's the name of the game and how the cookie crumbles. But yeah, there's so many things I wanted to get out of the DCU and we're never going to get. I wanted a solo Batman movie from Ben Affleck. We're not even getting that with Deathstroke. I still wanted to see that damn movie. Anyway, let's move on. If y'all like Black Adam, drop down your opinion down in the comments if y'all liked it or not. But anyway, so let's talk about Ricky Martin and Juan Yosef. So since news of their divorce broke last month, both Ricky Martin and Juan Yosef have been pretty quiet regarding details of their split beyond the usual joint statement. Now, while Ricky has been busy touring Europe and vacation with his 14-year-old sons Mateo and Valentino, Juan has been keeping a low profile. A camera operator for the Spanish language talk show Hoy Dia caught up with the Swedish Syrian artist as he was walking down the street and asked him about the divorce. Not looking through or being grilled on the street about the divorce, Yosef walked briskly with his head down and seemed to respond, "This is not a good place," or "I'm in a good place." It was hard to make out what he was saying because he was talking kind of low and stuff. Now, when pressed further, he elaborated about adding all as well as far as the family dynamic. Yosef says the kids are happy and we're happily separated. Now, Martin, on the other hand, sat down with Telemundo's Lourdes Colazo and was more forthcoming regarding the split, saying, "When the public found out, we had already gone through the grieving process." This is what he said, as reported by Oya. Juan and I will always be family. We have 2 children and we're going to raise together. And this is not a recent decision. We have been planning this situation for a long time. He said it's pre-pandemic. I'm like, so y'all had a divorce in the works since 2020? And when did they get married? So I'm starting to think that, you know what? First of all, Ricky met Juan, saw his stuff on Instagram and slid in the DMs. Then I believe they finally met up. He took a plane out to meet Juan, and then they hit it off. They were inseparable. They were hanging around a lot, dating, this, that, and the third. And then they ended up getting married. And so maybe y'all moved too fast instead of just really getting to know each other. And then once they got, it's like Juan's coming into a whole situation where Ricky's got 2 children. He's got the twins, and then he's having more children, and then you're having kids together. So it's all this stuff, and maybe things were moving too fast with Juan, and he and Ricky weren't seeing eye to eye. But to me, it's crazy that I was like, yeah, we had this in the world. Or you know what? He said it was pre-pandemic. Because I would have been like, yeah, when you in the pandemic, y'all stuck in the same house together and y'all can't leave and can't do nothing, y'all start to really see people's true colors and see how they really live. And it's a testament to be like, can I tolerate this motherfucker another day? Or can we fight and work through this? So he said it was pre-pandemic. So I can't even use the damn coronavirus as an excuse. Now, he also said when the marriage started to crumble, Martin revealed that he and Juan made sure not to fight in front of the children. The couple shared 2 children, Lucia. I have to fix that edit because I actually spelled her name wrong. And Ren 3, which Martin will continue to support and co-parent. My children never saw a fight between Juwan and me, Martin said. That's why it's like, are you going to divorce? Are you going to separate? How? Because we resolve our differences with a good talk, maybe in our room. The pair have managed to remain cordial with one another in large part due to how they handle the split. It has been wonderful. I even told Juwan we should write a book on how to get divorced properly. In fact, if someone is getting divorced, come and talk to us because we already have this figured out, he quipped. It has been much easier than we thought, but we've done it with time and calmness. Ricky always been trying to talk like he this damn yoga queen. Well, we know he does the yoga and stuff. He's so Mr. Zen and spiritual. Like, he's become like the Puerto Rican Dalai Lama in a lot of his, the way he articulates his situations. But it's like, I don't know, because the way Juwan was, his body language, he probably not. It might be more or less Ricky, the one that's really trying to put this whole united front situation on there. I don't know if Juwan's feeling the same way, but since you said that's what it is, we'll go along with it. How they've been able to remain cordial, how they basically have handled it as like two gentlemen, which I think is great. It's like, when you go your separate way, I go mine, but we realize we're not good married. But and it's always good when people get to know that. It's like, I don't want the whole traditional marriage thing. It doesn't work for me. Now, despite the smooth dissolution, the marriage of Puerto Rican crewman says he is not ready to jump right back into the dating pool. He said, take it easy. It's been 7 or 8 years with Juwan. I want to have a good time. I want to enjoy life. Let's take it easy. And yes, I do see myself in another relationship. I'm not talking about the near future, but I like being in love. I like being in a relationship. I like waking up in the morning to a morning kiss, breakfast, and complicity. Now, as far as Ricky's career, he will be heading to the Dominican Republic for another symphonic concert in September before kicking off the trilogy tour with Enrique Iglesias and Pitbull in October. So Ricky's pretty busy. I also think, it could be a plethora of things. It could be his schedule and Juwan's schedule. Juwan is an artist, so he's probably always in the studio creating art and all this other stuff, and then you're balancing and trying to raise children. Ricky's constantly traveling, so he's probably barely home, and this, that, and the third, he's making a coin, whether it's acting or performing on the road doing music. So, it's not easy when you're both artists and you're trying to navigate in this world and trying to do things and be creative and all that other stuff. And unfortunately, that's just, their relationship fell apart. But you know what? Ricky, you go out there and you sow your YOs. You 50 years old or 50, 51 years old. Like, he's half a century old, still looks good. So you go out there, you get to some little young bussies, scratch the bussies. Or you might be a bottom, and you probably like your pussy scratched. Child, did y'all hear the tea about Andy Cohen admitting on because he ain't speaking about what's going on with the whole situation with the lawsuits, but he going on Isaac Mizrahi podcast, or I think he does a podcast now, because like everybody does a goddamn podcast. But he was doing it. He was in an interview, and he admitted to Isaac Mizrahi that he's a top. So it's like, child, I'll be having these conversations, and because me talking about Ricky Martin, now I'm thinking about Andy Cohen hunching black boys in their booty, because we know that's what he like. But anyway, good luck, Ricky and Juwan. All right, so let's talk about Madonna. So now that Madonna is getting herself back on track, the pop icon is thanking her family and friends for their support after a health scare that left her in the ICU. And we did talk a little bit about her in the last show where, she went on social media, she was thanking the fans and any other. Now she's thanking her family and friends. Now, the legendary singer took to her Instagram on Sunday with a post of herself embracing her 2 kids, David Banda, who's always by her side, by the way, and Lourdes Leon, and explained how her family and friends were the best medicine to help her get through the scary ordeal. According to Madonna, her 2 kids were there with her every step of the way, saying love from family and friends is the best medicine. 1 month out of the hospital, and I can reflect. As a mother, you can finally get caught up in the needs of your children and the seemingly endless giving. But when the chips were down, my children really showed up for me. I saw a side to them I had never seen before. It made all the difference. She continued, if you zoom into this picture I'm holding, you will see a Polaroid taken by Andy Warhol of Keith Haring wearing a jacket with Michael Jackson's face painted on it. A perfect triangle of brilliance. Artists who touched so many lives, including my own. Um, Now, the Polaroid was a gift from Osiri, her manager, Guy Osiri, and it made Madonna realize how lucky she was to still be alive when most of her peers had passed away, including Warhol, MJ, and Herring. Madonna ended her post with a thank you to Osiri and the angels who watched over her. Said, I saw when I opened this gift because I realized how lucky I am to be alive, she wrote. Thank you, Guy Osiri, for this gift, and thank you to all my angels that protected me and let me stay to finish doing my work. According to Red Online, the 64-year-old Grammy winner was given Narcan on June 24th after she was found unresponsive at her New York City home, although the medication, also known as naloxone, is mainly used to counter a suspected opioid overdose. It can also revive those who have experienced septic shock, a life-threatening condition Madonna reportedly suffered before her hospitalization. Then we know about the ICU situation and how long she stayed in there and all that good stuff. But she also alluded that, because, the 84th date worldwide trek was scheduled to kick off on July 15th. And I was supposed to be going to her concert this month. And it was supposed to make stops at Seattle, Detroit, Chicago, Toronto, New York City, and all that good stuff. But she did say on her Instagram story that she will be letting us know, I believe this coming week, the rescheduled dates. I still have my ticket that I'm supposed to be going at the end of the month, and I'm going to see what date that is that they're exchanging it for, and I will definitely be going to that date still. Oh, well, the show when it comes to New York, Madison Square Garden. But, and it was supposed to wrap in Mexico City on January 2024, but now it's been moved to October. So it seems like the tour is probably going to be extended well into 2024 instead of wrapping in 2024 of January. So she will be still doing the overseas dates, but she just won't be, the LA dates. Not Michael Jackson's pronouns are he. Look, I like Madonna. I just feel like she just need to leave the face alone. She did relax the fellas a little bit, so she's starting to look a little better. But for the most part, I'm happy that she's alive. I'm glad that she was reflecting and looking at her life and realizing, she's lucky. She's one of the lucky ones that she could still be out here dipping it and doing it. It's like, ma'am, I don't need what happened to you happen to Michael Jackson. And we know what happened to Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's about to go on that tour. Michael Jackson's about to go on that tour, and what happened? And then he passed away before he could hit the road because, he was getting that shit where he had trouble sleeping and they giving him freaking anesthesia. So the propofol and all that other mess. So I don't need you to be nice with her. I feel like I said many a time, just take care of yourself. I hope she got some inspiration from this Renaissance tour because she was at the Beyonce tour, as was majority of New York. They all went to Jersey. Now I told you the only time we go to Jersey is if it's a concert. We don't migrate in Jersey, and that's no shade. But Madonna was at the Beyonce concert, and look, everybody's been saying Beyonce don't dance all that much in this tour. She spends majority of her time singing those songs, and she'll throw out a little two-step here and there, and she'll do a little bit of choreography, but for the most part, she's singing a lot of the tour, and the vocals is on point. So I feel like that's what Madonna needs to do. Madonna needs to focus, you don't have anything to prove. Like I said, I've seen a little bit of the Pink concert too, where she's flying through the air doing backflips and shit from one end of the arena to the other. You don't need to be doing all that crazy stuff. You have proven yourself enough that we know you are like one of the top chicks to ever do it in regards of giving a live show. So you don't need to prove to us anything. What you need to do is focus on giving us a great show, pacing yourself. I remember I think it was in my group chat that I'm a part of. It's called the Rebel Hearts with the Madonna fanatics and the sensible ones, not the crazy stands. But they went and said something or another about how I believe oh my God, I totally lost my train of thought what I was going to say. It'll probably come back to me. I don't know what happened. But for the most part, I just feel like she just needs to take it easy and relax and just focus more on just hitting your marks. You could do a little shimmy here and there, but I want you to perform more like Kylie Minogue and less like pink when it comes to performing. Like Kylie hits her mark. She does her little dances and stuff too, but Kylie focuses. Oh, Mandy Moore's Candy was. I do love that song though. I'm missing you like candy. But anyway, so yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing this. Like I said, I hope she took inspiration from the Beyonce tour and will move and not overextend herself. Oh yeah, now I remember. So they said that if she does at least 4 shows out of 7 days a week, she could probably do what she need to do. She could probably survive and do the show. I don't know why she don't pull a Bruce Springsteen. Where Bruce Springsteen basically, yeah, it was Bruce Springsteen. I had to think. I was like, was it Bruce Springsteen or Billy Joel? I don't know why all these years I still get them too confused. But Bruce Springsteen, I believe, had a residency at Madison Square Garden, and I believe it's either rapped or it's rapping. But I was like, why don't she do that? You could literally do a whole like you don't want to go. First of all, you want to stay in New York because you live in New York and you've been living out here for quite a while. I would just been like, I'm gonna rent out Madison Square Garden. I'll do 4 shows a week. People can come to New York. It'll drive up revenue. People can come to New York and they'll see you live. Same thing like with Kylie Minogue. She about to do a whole residency in Vegas, and they were like, "Oh, she not gonna be able to sell out nothing. How many number ones is Kylie at?" I'm like, Kylie got the gays, the international audience, and the tour. Like international people go. Tourism. That's part of Vegas. So the tourists, the gays, and the new fans. She'll make her coin. Trust and believe. Y'all gotta stop underestimating these icons. The bitch been around for 30 years. You think Kylie ain't gonna be able to do what she need to do? But back to Madonna. I said I don't know why she don't just do a residency in New York. Like you could do 4 days a week, Madison Square Garden, and that's that. And just have everybody living in New York. The crew, everybody, and then have them set up your stuff on those nights. I would have did something like that. I don't know how Bruce Springsteen did it, but production says MSG is expensive. Well, shit. So is Madonna's tours. You know how much all that stuff is that she's renting and she's using and she's having built. Why does this cap? I don't know why. I feel like a lot of people was not even touring like they used to. A lot of people were just doing residencies. But anyway, good luck to you, Madonna. I guess do what you feel, and I'm looking forward to seeing this tour. So I can't wait till it kicks off. But I guess we won't really know what everything looks like until October when you kick off the tour in London. Okay, so now let's get into Drag Race news. So RuPaul's Drag Race All-Star 6 winner Kylie Sonique Love is calling out rich celebrities who aren't willing to fork over them coins for the drag talent they book. Now, shout out to Pride for this tea. Trans drag icon Love, who first competed in season 2 of Drag Race and took home the crown of Drag Race All-Star 6, opened up to YouTube documentarian Matt Cullen in a video that dropped on July 30th about how a very famous celebrity told her that there wasn't room in the budget to pay her for a Pride performance. Before getting into criticisms of stingy celebs, Love talked about how much pop star Miley Cyrus has done for drag performance and the LGBTQ plus community. Cyrus included Drag Race faves Alyssa Edwards, Laganja Estranja, and Shangela in her 2015 VMA performance, and in 2021, the Flower singer hired Love to perform alongside her at a July 4th concert in Las Vegas. When Cyrus shared a video of the concert on social media, she captured it with high praise for the drag queen. "This is the new American woman. XO Sonique is my favorite, is my Miss America. You take the crown, mama," Love said in the interview that she and Cyrus have remained close friends ever since. Although Love didn't give up names, she got candid about celebrities trying to get out of paying drag performers for their work, saying, I just worked with a very famous celebrity who during the Pride season did a whole Pride event and a concert, but somehow didn't have a budget for us. Love also talked about her frustration with not being paid by rich stars and the difficulty of being a trans drag performer in the current political climate where states across the country are trying to enact drag bans and bills are being passed left and right that strip trans people of their rights. This summer especially, we've been fighting for our rights as drag performers and trans people to be able to continue living our lives and being able to work, and I just thought it was a little odd to do all of that. She revealed, "You're worth $500 million. didn't have $10 at least for us? Who's worth that? Child, now you're going to have the wheels turning. Who performed at a Pride event is worth $500 million and was too cheap? Was it Mariah Carey? Did she really recently perform? Was it Christina? Was Christina Aguilera? Does Christina have $500 million in the bank? I don't know. But regardless, here's the thing. This is the shit that pissed me off. And I know there's been many times that I have talked about this, and many people in the circles in which we do this talk about this. What irritates me a lot about our Pride events, y'all be having the money to book these icons, these gay icons, the Lady Gagas, the Beyoncés, the Kylie Minogues, the Madonnas. When y'all get them to perform at the Pride event, the Christinas, when you get them to perform at the Pride event, y'all always got money in the budget to pay them. But when it comes to the actual queer performers that are trying to put it down and make something themselves and depend on these Pride events to make their bank, y'all don't got money in the budget. Y'all want people to work for free. Fuck out of here. I'd be damned if because drag ain't cheap. Drag is expensive. So I wish a motherfather would tell me that they ain't got the coin to pay me for a performance. Like, no longer should drag performers be paying. See, this is another thing too. Like, y'all got Bethenny out here talking about a union for reality stars. You need a reunion for the drag queens because they can take advantage left, right, and center. They don't have the time. These clubs don't want to pay them money. I hear the complaints from the girls where it's like the clubs don't want to pay them for bookings or don't want to pay them a reasonable fee. Or at times you say, oh, if I'm going to pay you $100, I don't have the money for $100, but then some other low-hanging fruit will come in. Oh, I'll take the 70. If you got $75, the girl will come behind you will come in and do it for the 75. So you can't even, you can't even play hardball because there's always going to be somebody. It's the same thing I said about reality shows. It's like the crabs in the barrel syndrome. So it's crazy how this is something that drag queens are dealing with, and the fact that celebrities, y'all could be so damn cheap that you don't want to pay your talent. And you really think they're just going to sit up here and do stuff for free, especially because Kylie has a following. She won her season of Drag Race All-Stars. So she don't need the exposure. Y'all talk about, this, a lot of times, we don't have the money, but we can get you exposed. I'm like, bitch, I am exposed enough. Like, I won Drag Race. So therefore, all I got to do is take a picture and put on my Instagram or whatever, or social media, or all my social medias, and be like, I'm going to be performing at this place, and I will turn it out, and the girls will show up. The party will be packed. So you don't need this other tomfoolery, these other people trying to tell you. The girls know what they're worth on those shows like Drag Race. So I wish Kylie would have gave up some names because I want to know who she was talking about so we could drag their ass. Maybe one of these days I'll find out. All right, so let's talk about Shea Coulee. RuPaul's Drag Race icon Shea Coulee didn't come to play with you bigots who think you could be slick at the mouth and not receive repercussions for said slickness. Now, on Wednesday, the RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 5 winner took to Twitter, because I refuse to call that shit X, and revealed a horrific incident that occurred outside Starbucks. Now, here's what the Chicago drag queen tweeted. She said, today a man harassed 3 teenage girls, calling them whores outside of Starbucks. I immediately told him that he was inappropriate and to not speak to young women that way. He called me the F word and the N word, so I threw my full ice Americano in his face. I actually like an Americano. In another post, Coulee tweeted that another man decided to assert himself into the situation. Then some crusty old white dude told me that my reaction was uncalled for, even though he sat there the entire time while this man harassed these other girls and myself, Coulee explained. She added, firstly, as a white person, never tell a black person how to respond to being called the N-word. Because child, I ain't saying that shit getting flagged. But she's right. It's like, I don't understand how a lot of y'all come up here, y'all won't say anything about what the other people said, the white man, the other guy, but then if we retaliate and we say something and we get up in y'all face and we threaten to beat y'all ass, we're the ones in the wrong. And I'm tired of that situation. It's like the starter gets away with murder, but the person who comes along and is going to finish the foolishness, Then y'all want to come and look at us like we the bad guy. It's like, oh hell no. So I applaud Shay for standing up for what's right and standing up for them girls, because too often we see situations where people rather just pull out their phones for a moment so they can capture the moment and just be an innocent bystander and not do anything about it because they want to go viral on social media. They want to post something. So kudos to Shay for standing up for them young girls and taking the brunt of the hate in order to take it off of them. And then Shay, oh, excuse me, I'm yawning on camera, child. And then Shay, close out by saying, and second, he's lucky I didn't have a second Ice Americano because he would have been covered in espresso too. Also, I have never in my life thrown a drink on someone, and can I just say it felt incredible. So, white people, I need y'all to speak up when we need you to speak up, like the O'Shea situation. We need y'all to speak up around that time. When it comes to white people going around calling people the F word and the N word, and you thinking that you're not going to get a drink in the face, you need to realize that no, you're not. There's going to be repercussions of that. You can't just say some slick mess to me and you're not going to get the smoke. Because you're definitely going to get cursed the F out, if not worse. But anyway, so good luck to you, Shay. I'm here for what you did. And I would have been mad because I'm like, I depend on my coffee in the morning. But now, child, I'm all about at Dunkin' Donuts, the raspberry strawberry refresher. That is my crack. That's all I drink now. Every now and again, I'll go and I'll get me just iced coffee, black. Nothing in it. I don't do sugar. I don't do milk. I don't do none of that. I just drink it straight black. I know some people like ill, but I like it. Every now and again, like this morning, I did have a cup of coffee with some creamer. But usually when I'm working, whatever, I just drink my coffee straight black. I realize my dad's the same way too, so I may have gotten that from him. So anyway, good luck to you, Shay. All right, so now we're gonna close out the show by giving our condolences to a couple of celebrities. Now, part of my childhood has been lost because actor Paul Reubens, best known for his iconic role as Pee Wee Herman, has passed away. He was 70. Now, it said in a post on social media, last night we said farewell to Paul Reubens, an iconic American actor, comedian, writer, and producer whose beloved character, Pee Wee Herman, delighted generations of children and adults with his positivity, whimsy, and belief in the importance of kindness. Paul bravely and privately fought cancer for years with his trademark tenacity and wit. A gifted and prolific talent, he will forever live in the comedy pantheon and in our hearts as a treasured friend and a man of remarkable character and generosity of spirit. So, shout out to him for that. And I did see a post with, oh my God, this picture. I used to love Pee Wee Herman when I was growing up. And then he would do that tequila dance on top of the bar. Like, I love Pee Wee's Playhouse. I love Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Pee Wee's Playhouse, what's name was on that? Lawrence Fishburne. Many of the people I've encountered, Pee Wee Herman was like the cackle when I was a little kid. So seeing that he passed away, and it was so hard to believe. I was like, they said he was 70 years old. I would have never picked him being 70 because he always looked forever young. Like he had a baby face. And I did see that somebody on social media, I don't remember where I saw it at, but I do remember I saw it somewhere. And someone posted, so are we celebrating, or may have been a blog or something. They said, are we celebrating Pee Wee Herman or are we celebrating Paul Reubens? Because Pee Wee Herman was the character we love, but Paul Reubens, because you know what they were talking about. They were talking about the infamous incident that happened at, the movie theater that was showing super happy fun time videos. Shout out to Negro Aesthetics for that. But we was watching adult videos and he was pleasuring himself, and I forget what happened. I think he got arrested or something or another. But isn't that what they do at them establishments? I don't know. I've never been to a porn theater, so I don't know what they do up in there. But his career pretty much suffered for that, and people kind of dogged him. I think he was arrested because I remember I see the mugshot in my head now. Yeah, so it's unfortunate that it was like that was kind of like his downfall of his career. And then he wound up in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie, and his death scene in the movie was definitely a highlight of mine. It was hilarious the way he would just. It took him longer than usual to die with a stake in his heart. It was just funny. But even though the rest of that movie was just terrible. But yeah, shout out to Paul Rubens, and because you were definitely, and you'll definitely be missed, and you were an icon in my childhood and a special place in my childhood. But anyway, and then last but certainly not least, we lost a young actor who's, in my opinion, I'm still shocked over this. Angus Cloud, who basically was known for his role as a lovable drug dealer, Fezco on Euphoria. Now, the tragic news of Cloud's death at age 25 sent a wave of sorrow through the entertainment industry. Cloud's family confirmed his passing on Monday, July 31st, remembering him as a remarkable artist and cherished individual. Say it is with the heaviest heart that we had to say goodbye to an incredible human today, the statement said. As an artist, a friend, a brother, and a son, Angus was special to all of us in so many ways. Devastated by the loss of his father just the previous week, Cloud was grappling with the void the family shared. Last week, he buried his father and intensely struggled with the loss. The only comfort we have is knowing Angus is now reunited with his dad, who was his best friend. Angus was open about his battle with mental health, and we hope that his passing can be a reminder to others that they are not alone and should not fight this on their own in silence. And I think there was an interview where he actually alluded to that he wasn't okay in a lot of situations. And I have to say, like, I loved Euphoria and I loved his character. I believe his character, I know. His character and Javon Wharton, who actually was the first one I saw that spoke out, who played Ashtray, his younger brother, they were like my two favorite characters on Euphoria. And of course, Zendaya's Rue, but of course she did her thing. That's why she won the 2 Emmys. But Angus Cloud, what I loved about him was that he was so soft spoken and he was he didn't really say much. He spoke, and this is always, I feel like people think like that's not easy. I mean, that's easy that what he does. It is not easy as an actor to act with just no expression, to let your eyes and your body language pretty much say everything that your mouth is not saying. It's not easy to pull that off, but apparently this kid had the natural gift. I was trying to find out that they said he was walking down the street and the casting director discovered him and asked him to audition for Euphoria. That's how he got the job. He wasn't even an actor. I don't think he was, he said he was working for the service industry. I forgot what restaurant he was working at, but the kid was immensely talented, and it would have been nice to see, him tap further into that potential that he has as an actor. And they said he has 3 movies coming out. That one that they recently showed at the Tribeca Film Festival. It stars Pedro Pascal. I do not know the name of it. I don't think they named the name of the movie. But yeah, so Angus was, definitely a talent gone too soon. And I can understand how that feels like when you lose somebody who you're close to, like your father, and you're struggling with mental illness. And there's rumors that he OD'd, that he's had, he's gone back and forth. He's had issues with drugs and this, that, and third. I'm going to wait to find out what the cause of death is. I did see some article that said that they knew what the cause of death was, but I read through the thing and I'm like, okay, so what's the cause of death? It didn't say nothing. It just like, it was clearly clickbait. But excuse me. I will definitely keep you guys abreast of the story. And yeah, just have to know, like, you know what, you're not alone in this world. And we got the information at the bottom. If you're struggling, you're in a crisis, there are numbers that you can call and a website you can visit where you can get the support that you need, because, suicide should be the last resort. So shout out to Angus and his family. Now, we're at the end of the show. And I want to thank you all, so everybody spoke out. Yeah, and I forgot Zendaya and all of them spoke out. If you want to see that, go on the website. And you could see all the condolences and this, that, and the other. Drake and all of them. So anyway, thank you all for watching. Tune in next week for a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And thank you for everybody who was in the comments, commenting, and all that good stuff. It's like, yeah, another damn 3 hours. Ciao. It is what it is. But anyway, love you all for watching. Thank you to production for all that you do. That's why this show looks as fierce as it does. And thank you, Chris, for this big old mouth and you saying all the stuff you say. And thank you all, like I said, for watching and stuff. Also, be a doll for the 3rd damn time. please please like and subscribe and all that good stuff to this channel so you can get the latest updates on all the latest celebrity news and gossip. So, till next time, ciao, darlings. Excuse you? Baloney wash. Annoyed. Hey, bitch. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. It's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.